Hello and good evening.
We got a lot of clowns in the world of darkness. We're talking about the biggest one.
We
It's all
are
your
indeed.
fault, you joker.
It is. It really is. But
Everything that ever went wrong with anything ever has a direct link to you.
it starts and ends with one man mentioned in the Bible itself, and his name is Cain.
And it gets to the point where he's mentioned multiple times in Demon of Fallen, and he definitely contributed to the dumpster fire that is that story. Not as in the quality of Demon of Fallen's writing. I mean, Demon of Fallen's writing was left a lot to be desired. That it's not as interesting as you think it is, which is why we haven't been doing any other episodes on it.
It's more so just the chaos factor. Well, no pun intended, not to the chaos factor of Demon the Fallen in general, but most of it is Cain's
the
fault.
way it's written is just really boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be wordy when you're not like when you're dealing with that deep level of power that exists in the world of darkness. Which also, again, I feel like it's a damn shame we never got Angel the Guardian, but you know.
And with Cain himself, this guy has his fingers in many pies. He's directly responsible for a lot of shit that even goes for stuff like Werewolf the Apocalypse and Mage the Ascension. This guy has had issues with.
Very much so.
Along with a few issues in Changing to Dreaming, if you really want to get down to it. We're talking about the guy who started the entire vampire chain, Cain the First Murderer. We get to go into it. We're talking about many books in this. We're bringing up the Sabbat Guide, 1st and 2nd edition. We're talking about the Book of Nod in great detail this episode as well.
Yes.
And a little bit of Gehenna is going to get brought up as well. Along with, it helps to know what's in the book, Times Within Blood.
Yes.
So let's go ahead.
That goes a little bit into it, but not as much as it's just the Book of Nod itself.
I mean, it goes to show how badly this man is fucked up and how easy it would be just to fix all of this shit, but no, he doesn't want to do it.
No, and I feel like that's indicative of the world itself. And we'll get into this a little bit later with just Cain's story in the Book of Nod.
Right.
But it all has to do with selfishness and personal gain.
It has to do with personal about accountability and how somebody doesn't have the strength to do it. That's what this boils down to. Let's go ahead, let's get into this, dude.
Yes.
All right. Do you know what is on the Path of Caine?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
We have an entire faction in Werewolf.
Oh wait, that's true. We do have the Sabbat that has the Path of Caine.
Yes, they set up the entire Sabbat in order to prop up Cain as this big man to get behind. Because the entirety of Sabbat, as we've gone over before, is a big damn pack of lies. At the end of the day, you did not kill the eldest.
No.
You did not kill the Sombra.
No.
And the entire thing that you were opposing, the Camarilla, you instead became just like them, but outwardly worse. The Sabbat's mission, of course, was virtuous, in a kind of dark anti-hero way.
It is.
And I still say that the Sabbat is my favorite faction in Vampire the Masquerade by a massive mile. But you gotta call a spade when you see it.
Yes.
There's some bullshit artistry behind the Sabbat. So, as we've gone over multiple times in this channel already, we're not going to get too specific into it. The Anarch Revolt did happen, set by Tyler, who is the other character who fucking ruined everything. She's got a lot more in common with Cain than she'd like to believe. And after that, inspiring the Bruja to rebel en masse in Spain, the La Sombra to think they diabolized La Sombra, which did not happen, and for Lugos to lead the charge in breaking the Fire Flower that you thought was breaking your bloodline over you, but no, it just broke the Eldest's contract with Cupola to effectively screw over an earthbound demon. We now have a Anarch Revolt that quickly flames out in the face of a newly formed Camarilla. While that Anarch Revolt would slowly collapse, a new religion that would use Cain as its godhead would form in the ruins of that. It was headed by the La Sombra, who looked over at these more folksy spiritualist Zimichi and decided, would you like to make a faith? Is that something you'd like to do? They thought about it and they said, yes. They uncovered a Book of Nod and used a very bastardized interpretation of that for the base of their religion. That would become known as the Sabbat. A holy war that would propagate the jihad known as another name, the Prophecy of Uriel. That one day, the younger vampires would turn their fangs on the older vampires and kill them all.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing this in order to win the favor of Cain himself, who they wrongfully believed, according to this prophecy, who would come back one day and just be this dark messiah who would pave the way for complete vampire supremacy. Your ethics on the Path of Caine include restraining yourself and never giving into extremes, which is brought up multiple times in the Book of Nod we'll get into. Develop your willpower. Never give in to your beast. Learn as much as possible about vampiric history. Take the blood of those who are unworthy in order to come closer to Cain. We're going to get back to that point.
Yes.
Diabri, Kyle.
Yes. Which is mentioned in the Book of Nod a couple of times.
You're not supposed to do that.
No.
Even by that book's own standards. So, once again, cherry-picking Lasombra in action.
Yep.
Lasombra look over and say, the Venture have a good way of doing things. Nah, let's just go ahead and rip up the codex of what works as a vampire and just do things their own fucking way, which is, of course, the inferior, run my own organization to the ground way, check myself to Zamichi way, blow whatever I could have had with the Assamites way. Failure.
It could have been so different if they hadn't fucked themselves with the Zamichi and just let them to roam around Eastern Europe, just doing whatever the fuck they want, and just closing their ties with the Assamites. Everything would have been fine.
You also want to accept the condition that you're no longer human, and if possible, leave the children of Seth alone, is the thing. Until Cain comes back, in that case, you flex your muscle and become the new gods of a world of eternal darkness. Supposedly. I have a Path of Caine vampire in our games. You would, of course, know him as Dorian, after he's popped up a few times in our projects. You know, the guy that has the mouth that starts in the center of his face and runs down all the way to his crotch.
Is he really Path of Caine?
Yes, he is.
Oh, shit.
The only reason he's interacting with our mage players is because they're mages. If they were just plain humans, he'd completely leave them alone. Because there's a whole thing where, in order for a dark messiah of Cain to come back, you need to make sure that no other supernatural is going to get in his way. You need to make sure that Camarilla is in a manageable state to where the Illuminati of vampires isn't going to quash your entire movement once your dark messiah comes back. You want to make sure that you have an actual army that can push back against the Illuminati. You want to make sure that the anarchs are not going to completely waste your time, subvert your movement, and lead you down a path of heresy in the eyes of the Sabbat, where there would be no army for your Dark Messiah to come back to. Same thing with the werewolves, same thing with the mages, same thing with even changelings. Make sure they're not so numerous it will interfere with your reign with Cain. Not that anything is going to bother Cain, because Cain, as we'll get into, is borderline invincible. It is because you're not going to have a following afterwards. Howler has now joined the call. Welcome to the episode, Howler.
Hello.
There we go. I think Howler's levels are fine from last time we talked.
Probably.
That's going to it. Of course, we can just add the audio on the fly. Your sins involving the Path of Caine is, number 10, failure to research or study. You got to be a studious vampire. You can't just do what the Zamichi usually do, roam around and eat people. You wonder why the Zamichi don't actually follow this own path that their own fucking faction was founded on, instead just go down the path of metamorphosis.
Well, it's easier.
It's easier to just be a fucking loser out in the middle of the Carpathians, just eating people, not actually contributing to the movement. Letting the entirety of Sabbat just fucking go to shit.
I'm not easier that way. I think it's easier, yes.
Failing to teach another vampire about the path is a sin. You want to be evangelical with this. The Sabbat's looking to recruit you.
Wait, how does someone who's a part of the Camarilla join? Don't they just kill them on sight?
The Camarilla you have to be hired into, because after all, you have the Ventru hiring process, say with the Toreador.
No. What? I meant, like, let's say you're fighting, let's say a Camarilla, like, neonate, they find them. Don't they just kill them on sight?
Usually, yes, because you've been trained so deeply by the Camarilla that it's going to be impossible to decode you. The Ventru can do that, same with the Tremere, where if they're high enough and dominate, they can just overwrite your own personality to an extent with dominate. It's going to take too much time and effort. It's not going to work. But an Anarch, on the other hand, or a recently turned vampire that you just killed the sire of and now have socially isolated, would be perfect to bring onto the side. Or a caitiff who is not super fucking high in generation, like a decent one that you can relatively trace back to a lineage with the Stone Man or some other shit. Not a Thin Blood, though. A Thin Blood is a sign of apocalypse and must die before he goes off and propagates more Thin Bloods.
Okay, so not all vampire.
Another sin, treating mortals as equals. Why would you do this? You're supposed to one day, when the Dark Messiah comes back, lord over the mortals. Why are you wasting time with humans that are going to age and die? They can't regenerate like you can. You're better than this. Was it the whole saying, you lie with dogs, you wake up with fleas?
Yes.
Define mortal, though. For instance, mages?
Well, that's the reason why Dorian is talking to you, because he knows you can extend your lifespan.
Yeah, mages aren't mortal. Also, mages can just wish you out of existence, so let's not be assholes.
High enough level, yes. Another sin level 7, disrespecting another student of Caine. You're supposed to be part of a unified faith. Maybe don't do that. If they're wrong, say they're wrong, but don't do anything insulting, challenging. You don't want to cause a schism. You saw how well that happened with the Catholic Church and Roman Empire.
Yes,
number 6.
And that divided their faith forever.
6, failing to ride the wave of a frenzy. If you fall into a frenzy, well, guess what? We're going to have to roll your path rating, you fucking loser. You weren't supposed to do that. Same with succumbing to Rot Strike, which is even worse. Now, number 4 in the sin path is failing to diabolize a humane vampire. Basically, any sort of member of the Camarilla. The Sabbat tried to forbid fighting each other, but how many times has this faction gone to civil war with itself? 3 different times.
3, mostly because it's the Samichi's fault, but we're not going to go into that.
And when they say that, they encourage diablerie, but they want you to target the Camarilla specifically with that. You notice the way that path line is phrased, the humane vampire. They're talking about Camarilla vampires who directly fraternize with humanity on a regular basis.
Most of the population, I feel like there's a lot of contradictions in this, but again, I feel like that plays more into Caine himself.
Oh, you're a noticer, aren't you?
A little bit.
You're noticing something's off here.
Just a bit. Don't worry about it.
Sin level 3, not testing the limits of your condition, aka not dumping all of your XP into disciplines to make you get the chance to upgrade them.
What book are you reading? Sorry.
I'm looking at the spot book, the Path of Caine.
Yes. Path of Caine, got it.
Failure number 2, sin number 2, failing to pursue knowledge about Caine and vampirism. Why would you stay in ignorance when you're waiting for a Dark Messiah to come back? Don't you want to know how this Dark Messiah is supposed to work if he's going to return?
It's going to be the funniest fucking thing is this if came back and looked at him and was like, I hate all of you.
You're just going to come back and make an ass to yourself, like, if Jesus Christ returns to the rapture and he appears next to you and then you don't know what to say to him and you don't know how to act around Jesus. That's the same kind of sin hierarchy in their minds.
I would just offer him a bottle of wine. I've got plenty.
And then number 1, denying your hunger or other parts of your vampiric condition. Do not deny being a vampire, aka do not ever have second thoughts about the path you're on and consider humanity for a remote reason. You will fall to your beast almost instantly if that happens. At no point when you're on the Path of Caine are you ever allowed to second guess fucking anything about what you're doing. No chance. No fucking chance can you do that.
Yep. If you try, good luck.
Along with this 2-3 HB was developing a few pictures before the episode started. Let's go ahead and let me send this one to you right now. See, go. Hey, check studio pages for a second. Check this out.
Yes. He looks like fucking Kratos. What the shit is this? He does look like Kratos. I like Rob Zombie Caine better.
No, the Antediluvians were able to keep a hairline.
Give him his hair back.
Fucking Kratos.
He does look like Kratos. I'm sorry.
So get into Caine himself. Let's talk about the history, because we've already done an entire Sabbat episode once before, so we're not going to get too in detail about the Sabbat. Because after all, the entire sect is full of shit, and we know this, and we start the Sabbat for it.
They're still technically right, I'd hate to say it.
Let's rip out the Book of Nod. Let's start getting into Caine's backstory.
Yes.
Flip into this guy. Now, why do we have an entire faction and path dedicated to this guy? The first murderer. Why are we trying to glorify this guy? Isn't he supposed to be this universal de facto bad guy? Well, the reason why you want to see any sort of admiration in Caine at all would be because you're a vampire, you're no longer human, you're looking for a guy who held it the best, and that would be Caine. Some guys want to actually justify it by saying, well, Caine is supposed to be this necessary evil, right? I mean, you can't have good in the world without evil in it. That's what Caine was. And after all, you read the Book of Nod, this evil had to happen anyway. I mean, we still have to eat, we still have to kill animals in order to propagate ourselves. But you neglect that Caine didn't really do that for any sort of necessity. He just did it for his own personal stake. We shall go ahead and get into the backstory, which begins on page... Looking in this book. The file I sent you has both pages up at the same time. It's where you see the picture of the guy holding the zebra head.
Yeah. If those of you who are following along in the King James version of the Holy Bible, that is Genesis 4:1, by the way.
Oh, this ain't going to match at all.
So what page are we doing? I'm sorry.
Look at it's page 20 in the Book of Nod.
Page 20, file 38.
Now, go into this.
Got it.
Now, this is supposed to be written by Caine from Caine's perspective, where you gotta wonder, this is a nodist, how do they really know this? And even at the beginning, before it goes into this, the guy who is narrating this to you, who is translating most of this, would be, I believe his name is Laurentis? Yeah, no, Aristotle de Laurent is his name. A lore character who is a, what you were saying?
I know it sounds silly, but Caine could write, correct?
Well, yeah, he could, but he didn't write his own book.
Also, if I am reading this correctly, the sire of even more important lore character, Cuthbert Beckett.
Mm-hmm. Aristotle de Laurent. Absolutely that. You see why Beckett's whole character is that he's obsessed with finishing and completing the Book of Nod and seeing Gehenna to its very end.
So much like the one guy who, I keep forgetting the actor's name, who you meet at the beginning of Bloodlines, is also an accelerationist.
Smiling Jack.
Yes.
If you want to know Laurent's picture, there he is.
Yes. Give me a half sec. I have the Bible in my lap. Hang on.
It is. I like that grittier looking picture of him.
That is quite good, actually.
He's a pretty important character. He's involved in the Jihad Diary. He's mentioned in the Euthantos book, of all things.
Really?
Yeah. Where the Euthantos know about this guy. Just to say the least.
Well, if there's anybody who's broken the wheel, it's him.
As for whether or not he's still alive, we don't know. He kind of vanishes from the plot. So,
I'm sorry, but it's just so hilarious that they like, I know, make God happy, murder. Wait, God, why aren't you happy?
Yeah, he directly comes into contact with Tiamat, who is this. We're not entirely sure, but she might be a Ventru, a 4th generation. And after running into her, we don't really know what happened to Laurent after that encounter. As for what Tiamat looks like, she looks like a fucking spider.
So it's more Lolth than Tiamat now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's her.
She does actually look like a spider now.
What the fuck happened to you? You the brace doesn't make you look like this.
You look like a Setite got to you before anybody else.
Is she
being perfectly honest.
No, that's a Ventru.
Oh Jesus! How the fuck?
Well, maybe she just has some proto ability similar to it.
A little bit of a little bit of protean.
Some nasty mutation powers here. I shall read this directly. I shall go off the verse structure in the Book of Nod. Is the easiest book in Vampire to read. I dream of the first times, the longest memory. I speak of the first times, the oldest father. I sing of the first times in the dawn of darkness. In Nod, where the light of paradise lit up the night sky and the tears of our parents wet the ground. Each of us in our own way set about to live and take our sustenance from the land. Now, to explain what the Book of Nod is, why it's called that, Nod in this case, Genesis chapter 4, was the land of darkness. It was a place where the sun just did not shine upon the land. It was just a massive expanse of shadows and darkness, a complete contrast of what remained of Eden after you got pushed out of it, the surrounding communities that would be close to the Garden of Eden, kept out by the flaming sword of Uriel.
Yeah, the book itself actually has a number of notes regarding these first couple of stanzas, as in the first times researched, they believe it speaks of a time before. The Book of Nod dated just before the time of Sumer, around about 4500 BC.
Yes.
Nod, in this case, meaning, quote, unknown lands, supposedly lands outside of Eden, which were not named at that time. Therefore, lands anywhere other than between the Tigris and Euphrates River.
Mm-hmm. And I, the firstborn Cain, with sharp things, planted the dark seeds, wet them in the earth, tended to them, watched them grow. And Abel, secondborn Abel, tended the animals, aided their bloody births, fed them, watched them grow. Cain was a man who was a farmer, a rancher, and then Abel was a guy who worked with animals all day.
Well,
a shepherd.
Cain was the farmer, Abel was the rancher, if that's the case.
Oh, shit, I got the other way around.
All good.
And essentially what happens after this is that God calls for a sacrifice. I'm not going to necessarily read the verse there because we know how the story goes. Where both of them set up a sacrifice, Cain ends up sacrificing his crops, and Abel sacrifices a kill of his youngest and fattest of the animals. Abel's sacrifices given a blessing, while Cain's is ignored. And Cain, of course, complains to God about this, saying, well, about my sacrifice wasn't really good. And in the biblical story, and even in the book of Nod, we're not given a necessary explanation as for why it was rejected.
That is Genesis 5 through 8, by the way.
Where God seems to imply that Cain knows why his sacrifice was rejected, and he just refuses to admit it. Where there's a few interpretations for this, because I looked around as for what people interpret this verse of the Bible to be about. Where if you're presuming that God wanted a live animal sacrifice, that some people said, well, Cain was screwed because he was a guy who worked with plants instead of animals. But could it also not be suggested that Cain trade his crops for an animal instead? Because Abel was the only guy around who was ranching animals. It's strongly implied in the story, given that other lands and other people that Cain encounters, that there were more people out there than just him, Adam, Eve, and Abel. There were other people already settled around what remained of Eden at that time.
Well, I mean, yeah, because like in Eden itself, it's like with Sumer being to the south of them, Cain could have just as easily gone out to another farm with his freshest and most recent crops and said, I will trade unto thee my freshest and finest crops for one of the freshest and finest of livestock. And could have prevented this whole thing from happening. And maybe after fucking Time of Judgment could have made that happen, but you never know.
It's also implied in Paradise Lost, where if you want to take that seriously at all, how Milton wrote that is that Cain only sacrificed what he could afford to lose and continue to profit, while Abel sacrificed his best. And that's the implication here.
That does imply that, inherent balance between good and evil that Zoroastrianism would eventually, expunge upon in the centuries or millennia prior or following.
If you want to compare effort, it is easier for you to part ways with a plant than it is with an animal. An animal, you have to wait an entire birth cycle for you to get a new one. A plant, sure, harvest has to happen, but you get way more seeds than you do eggs with an animal.
You do, but you also get a frailer diet and a poorer yield calorically wise than you would from an animal. That was even understood in the time of the time of the Book of Nod.
Animals are more expensive because you have to keep them alive as well, so you need more food.
Precisely that. So, if you want to compare value, Cain was going to put a lot more on the table when it came to plants in order to match the value of an animal, which he did not do.
I would say at least twice as much. You need a human to keep alive and the animal to keep alive with grain.
So the next time a sacrifice comes around, Cain comes up to the altar with nothing. He's just got a sharp bone in his hand. Abel looks at him and says, Cain, you did not bring a sacrifice, a gift of your first part of your joy, to burn on the altar to the one above. Cain looks over at Abel and says, oh yeah, I made a sacrifice. What Cain says, and what all the Nahs say, is that Cain reinterprets what God wants as, I want you to sacrifice what you consider to be the most valuable. Abel, being the favorite of God, would be Cain's ideal to rise to, so therefore his idea is, if I sacrifice my own ideal that I'm supposed to rise to, that will be what gives me my blessing. When no, it's ultimately selfishness. It's ultimately envy. You've got a guy above you that you can't match, and you refuse to match because you're too prideful of your own produce and greedy to let any of it go, which is what leads to him killing Abel. Cain knows this. Cain knows that he did this, but has spent the next 10,000 years lying to himself about what he did and why he did it.
It should be
Which is
noted.
what?
It should be noted there is a slight changing in the gang rules. They believe this is an interpretation of settler societies killing off the hunters.
Yes.
It's an idea that the gang will have, because we'll go into how some of the other clans have twisted the Book of Nod over time. And the blood of Abel covered the altar and smelled sweet as it burnt. But my father cried, "Cursed are you, Cain, who killed your brother. As I was cast out, so shall you be." Cast out metaphorically, so to speak. You cast me out of your own heart, so I will cast you out of my land. And he was exiled to wander the darkness in the land of Nod.
That is Genesis 4:11 onward to Genesis 4:16.
They also leave out in the Book of Nod a few details about how the curse is supposed to work, because as we know, God comes down and says, "Cain, where's your brother?" Cain replies, "I don't know him, I'm my brother's keeper." He says, "His blood cries out for me from the ground. I know what you did. I gave you an opportunity to confess to what you did. So here's your curse.
Yes.
You will seek death, but it will never find you. You will long for death, but it will evade you. And people will know of what you did upon seeing you." Cain says, "My curse is too much to bear. If anyone sees me, they'll try to kill me." He's then marked, and that mark is a ward. Anyone who tries to kill you will face the death they try to inflict upon you sevenfold. And then Cain is left to wander the world. And if you take that curse literally, that means that if you were to interpret the story of Genesis literally, Cain's still alive, where he survives the deluge and all these other disasters, and he's still walking around today.
Yes.
But for me, the stories of Genesis are more allegorical. I don't take these at literal value. There's legends to be told here. It's more about the message than the actual literal interpretation. But along with it too, Demon the Fallen. By killing Abel, Cain ends up inventing something. The concept of murder. Death was already a thing. You already had the Slayers and the Scourges who did that. Now, after it turns out a human could just at any point pick up something, shove it into another man, and kill him, that inspired the angels, specifically Lucifer, who looked at that and realized, we can be violent. We don't need to just protest and petition against God. We can fight against him. Which is what led to Lucifer inspiring the 666 from doing what was a small rebellion into a full-blown war that led to all of them, except for Lucifer, being cast down into the abyss, aka hell, where they were tormented and turned into the demons that we see today in the Fallen. And any demons that were left behind in the mix fell to earth, where they cratered into the ground and became the earthbound.
Oh, wait, murder.
Exactly that. So thank you, Cain, for inspiring that to happen.
That seemed like a thing to do at the time.
Because of you, we have the Earthbound and the Fallen. Keep that in mind for a later part of the story.
Yes.
The coming of Lilith. I was alone in darkness, and I grew hungry, cold, and I cried. There came to me a sweet voice, a honey voice. Words of succor, words of
Saccharin.
See, that's what it's supposed to be?
Actually, hang on. Let me double check.
You know that fucking weird-ass French spelling then.
Give me a second.
A woman dark and lovely, with eyes that pierced the darkness, came to me. "I know your story, Cain of Nod." Well, of course you would, because the curse, you know what he did by seeing him. "You are hungry, I have food. You are cold, I have clothes. You are sad, I have comfort. Who would comfort one so cursed as I? Who would clothe me? Who would feed me? I am your father's first wife, who disagreed with the one above and gained freedom in the darkness. I am Lilith." We now need to talk about Lilith in the world of darkness.
Circase. Sorry, pardon me.
Now, when it comes to Lilith, she's brought up a few times in Werewolf the Apocalypse because there's an interpretation that she is Gaia, which I don't necessarily agree with at all.
I don't know. It wouldn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah, but there's a few Black Furies out there that know about Lilith and at least sympathize with her, because it's implied that the Bahari are a known thing to the Black Furies. We have to go to another book for this one, but just for a brief moment, Revelations of the Dark Mother, which we are not going to go into in depth because we want to do an episode on the Bahari in the future. Now, going into that, they bring up why Lilith was cast out of Eden. Eden was just populated by the animals and Adam at first. God reached into the ground and using earth created Lilith. Lilith was supposed to be Adam's wife. That was supposed to be what Adam was longing for, looking around for somebody to share the glories of Eden with. When Adam went over to have sex with Lilith, Lilith refused, Adam did it anyway, and then Lilith complained to God about it. In Lilith's own story, there might be some more to that story. And for refusing to go along with everything that Adam asked for, she was cast out of Eden. God repaid Adam by reaching in, taking a rib, using that to make Eve, and then Adam was satisfied with that. Well, Lilith was left to be in Nod. While in Nod, she started conversing with Lucifer, which is the first person you want to meet in the land like that.
Just letting you know, for those of you following along in the King James Version, that is Isaiah 34:14.
You just stumble upon Lucifer.
You just happen to find him. It's not like he flew down to you with a purpose in mind. Where Lucifer proceeded to ask for consent from Lilith. The two of them had 6 kids, one of those being Anoia, by the way, the progenitor of the gangrel vampires.
Yes.
After which, Anoia went off on her own while the other 5 hung around Lilith and saw her, of course, as their mother. And afterwards, Lilith was what might have inspired Lucifer to lead the fall against God, saying that if humanity is going to be micromanaged to this extent by God, then I don't want to be subservient to him, which is what eventually led to the rebellion, and as we said, it was made worse by Cain. After Cain inspired Lucifer to do the thing, Lilith would of course notice that Lucifer was no longer around, so she went out and sought Cain. During their conversations, Lilith said, "You've been cursed by God? Well, so have I. I've been learning a few things in this dark land, this borderline abyss, and I have awakened as a mage. Would you like to do the same?" Cain says, "Yes, I would like to awake." But Lilith says, "Well, I do not know what the awakening will do for you, actually. For you're truly cursed by the Father. You could die, you could be forever changed." Cain says, and I quote, "Even so, a life without power would not be worth living. I would die without your gifts. I will not live as your thrall." What Cain wants, ultimately, is that he's still in denial over why he killed Abel, and he's taking it out on God. In Cain's mind, he was screwed. There was nothing he could do about the sacrifice. He was just there to suffer because he doesn't know, but God is just an asshole in his mind. He wants to gain a level of power to get one over on God, saying, if you're going to curse me to live in the land of Nod, then I'm going to thrive in it, not for my own benefit, but to spite you, is the idea.
At this point, does this make Cain basically Enkidu in Sumerian myth?
Yes, in that case.
And Lilith becomes the, I forget the name of the Sumerian goddess who lays with Cain for 7 days and 7 nights and pours the amber drink of beer, to which the animals flee from him. I could be getting off track, but that's just what it reads to me.
So, does this mean that you can have a vampire that is not the result of Cain?
Yes. Is it that? But that's what the Bahari are.
So they're a different breed of vampires? They don't have the same rules?
Technically, they're not, because Lilith herself is not a vampire. At least what the notes suggest.
And this finally helps resolve the snarl between the Nagaraja existing and how the Nagaraja can continue to be, what kind of vampire Tremere was supposed to be before he diabolized Solot, and it finally lays to rest this whole snarl involving the Quaid Jinn, how the Quaid Jinn are allowed to exist. The one genre having their own story off on the other side of the world. This is just what Cain's up to. It
would have been interesting to see what Tremere would be if they never dolaborized Slalop. Sorry, my voice just broke there for a second.
It's all good. No, we heard you.
He'd be on the same level of power as the Nagaraja, where you're still threatening, but not to the point where we need to form the Camarilla around you, for example. Granted, Tremere was a very fucking dangerous man. He was like a pseudo-vampire where he still had an avatar at the time, and theoretically could go to a Ret 6, 7, and beyond. But he, of course, screwed himself in doing that when Solot got a hold of him, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, but I think staying a mage would have been better.
Oh, it would have been leagues better. I mean, Tremere realized that, and he can't take that back. He fucked up.
Yeah.
So, it's also kind of weird what Cain's doing here, because you're technically sleeping with your dad's ex-wife in this scenario.
Kinda, yeah.
I couldn't see myself doing that.
Yo.
No Oedipus moves right here.
I'm not even sure if it's Oedipus at this rate. It's like, oh, like my dad slimes you out, and I'm going to do the same with you. and that's what's going on here.
Yeah.
Lilith devises a ritual where she cuts herself with a knife, bleeds into a bowl, and then Caine drinks it. Caine instead goes into a vision quest where he falls into the abyss. As for whether or not it was a vision or the actual abyss is not necessarily explained. Now to read directly from the book. And from the darkness came a bright shining light, fire in the night. And the archangel Michael revealed himself to me. I was unafraid. I asked his business. Michael, general of heaven, wielder of the holy flame, said unto me, Son of Adam, son of Eve, thy crime is great, and yet the mercy of my Father is also great. Will you not repent the evil that you have done, and let his mercy wash you clean? And I said to Michael, Not by the one above's grace, but my own will I live, in pride. Then Michael cursed me, saying, Then, for as long as you walk this earth, you and your children will fear my living flame, and it will bite deep and savor your flesh. And therefore, Caine's weakness to sunlight forms. He decides that I'm not going to live for God, I'm going to live for myself, which is what grants him that curse.
Yes.
Just say sorry, asshole.
That's what these next couple of pages are, basically.
And on the morning, Raphael came on lambent wings, light over the horizon, and driver of the sun, ward of the east. Raphael spoke, saying, Cain, son of Adam and Eve, your brother Abel forgives you your sin. Will you not repent and accept the mercy of the Almighty? And I said to Raphael, Not by Abel's forgiveness, but by mine own will I be forgiven. Raphael cursed me, saying, Then for as long as you walk the earth, you and your children will fear the dawn, and the sun's rays will seek to burn you like fire, wherever you hide away. Hide now, for the sun rises to take you on its wrath. And the sunlight goes from a weakness that would have been like the Kuei Jins or the Thin Bloods to an out-and-out fatal condition.
This reminds me a bit like the three ghosts from Christmas Past, but instead it's just the angels. Like just three times.
Three is a holy number. You know, you have the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, the present, the past, present, the future. But like, it's interesting how that reflects in. It reflects in everything from both biblical stories to jokes. Because, like, you get the rule of threes in, like, you know, long-form jokes, which I've followed. And you get the rule of threes here in this, in, you know, obscure vampire lore. And you get the rule of threes in the Bible. It's just fun to see how that always goes over. You know, you get the three in totality. It really works.
A man and a woman had a little baby. Yes, they did.
They had three in the family. God, I love that song, man.
I knew the meme magic was going to kick in.
I couldn't help it, man. It's such a good song.
The third one is better. Just one more.
But I found a secret place on the earth and hid from the burning light of the sun. Deep in the earth, I slept until the light of the world was hidden beneath the mountain night. When I woke from my day of sleep, I heard the sound of gentle rustling of wings, and I saw the black wings of Uriel draped around me. Uriel, Reaper, Angel of Death, dark Uriel who dwells in darkness. Uriel spoke to me quietly, saying,
Son of Adam, son of Eve, God Almighty. God Almighty has forgiven you your sin. Will you accept his mercy and let me take you to your reward, no longer cursed?
Now keep that in mind.
I love this. Like, God is, oh, you know what? Fucking asshole. Fine. God just forgives you. Can you just come home?
And keep that in mind. Cain is dead to rights in this moment. Uriel is here to kill him. This is where the undeadening comes into play. And I said to dark-winged Uriel, Not by God's mercy, but by mine own will I live. I am what I am, I did what I did, and that will never change. And then, through dread Uriel, God Almighty cursed me, saying,
Then for as long as you walk this earth, you and your children will cling to darkness. You will drink only blood. You will eat only ashes. You will always be as you were at death, never dying, living on. You will walk forever in darkness. All you touch will crumble into nothing until the last days.
The curse is now complete. We now have our first vampire.
It says he weeps from the curse and like the consequences of my actions.
I wept blood. I caught tears in a cup and I drank them. And it sustains himself. He diabolizes himself as his first feeding.
It's fascinating.
That is actually interesting. You never see that anywhere else in the World of Darkness, except now.
When I looked from my drink of sorrow, the Archangel Gabriel, gentle Gabriel, Gabriel Lord of Mercy, appeared to me. The Archangel Gabriel said unto me, Son of Adam, son of Eve, behold, the mercy of the Father is greater than you can ever know. For even now there is a path opened in the road of mercy, and you shall call this road Golconda. And tell your children of it, for by that road they may come once again to dwell in the light. And Caine would refuse to tell anyone about that.
Fucking asshole, Caine.
I do find it absolutely fascinating, and honestly, kind of optimistic, weirdly, that even despite all of the dark and the edge and just bleedingness of the gothic darkness of the World of Darkness, if you'll pardon the pun,
As
that
you would say,
even
yes.
through all of this, God's mercy still shines in the Book of Nod. I honestly think that's just really uplifting. That even somebody as far gone as Caine, the first murderer, and by extension in this book, the first vampire, still has a road to redemption.
There's still really strong Christian themes throughout the World of Darkness, and I like that it doesn't ever take Christianity's side and preaches to you, but it's never against Christianity either. It's there to help the story, and then you draw your own conclusion about whether or not this is God is virtuous or God is evil, depending on how you interpret the text.
It punishes Caine for what he's done, rightfully so, because he is the first murderer, but he also shows that there is always a way forward. There's a humanist aspect to this book that I honestly just couldn't help but admire.
It's also the reason why I strongly hate Vampire 5th Edition for getting rid of this. Not because I'm a Christian man who wants to see my Christian faith in the Christian game, because it gets rid of any aspect or theme of the game that isn't just personal suffering.
And I mean, I'm Jewish, and I honestly think that's very beautiful, that passage there, that Gabriel came to Caine in his time of great need and still offered him a way out.
There's a genuine...
Caine not only said fuck you, he said fuck you to all his kids.
Exactly that, to the point where it took Salat rediscovering the path on his own before people found out it existed.
Vampire Jesus.
And created the vampire hard mode.
And with that, the darkness lifted like a veil, and only light was in Lilith's bright eyes. Looking around me, I knew that I had awakened. When my energies first surged through me, I discovered how to move like lightning, how to borrow the strength of the earth, how to be as stone. These were like breathing once more to me. He developed celerity first, as his discipline. Potence and fortitude followed that. He immediately awakens as a mage, but with no avatar, because he has no soul to really...
He doesn't have a soul.
Well, he has a soul, but it's so minuscule in power, it cannot grasp an avatar. It's trying to cook a hamburger with only a single ember.
If Caine had sacrificed his entire harvest to God, he could have been the first mage.
And now you have these powers that can only benefit you on Earth and have no practical application to the Umbra, the Dreaming, the Shadowlands, or even space beyond and what's lingering outside of the reaches of the Umbra and Dark Umbra.
Unless you're Giovanni, because fuck, they don't have to follow the rules.
Let me go back here. Hang on. Sam Chupp and Andrew Greenberg wrote this book. I gotta say, this is fucking phenomenal doublespeak right here. This is great. This is Shakespearean levels of writing where it's like an almost resolution where Caine could have almost been the first celestial chorister, and he didn't. He was right there.
To let you know what other stuff Sam Chupp also wrote, Rite of Passage with Werewolf, Drums on the Fire. The Book of Nod was his third project with this group. So, immediately came out the gate swinging. And he also wrote some of the best parts of Birth the Oblivion. Tried his damnedest with the Verbena.
He
didn't work because you tried your best with the Verbena, but the Verbena just sucked in concept, man. I'm sorry you had to write that book.
It happens. Every now and again, you get thrown into something you can't get yourself out of.
And then the other writer was Andrew Greenberg?
Yes.
let's see. Pulling up what Andrew Greenberg has done. Taking a look at what he's got. He's a pretty prolific writer of Vampire the Masquerade. Wrote Hunters Hunted, Berlin by Night.
Well, okay. I'm here on that. Berlin by Night, you have my attention.
Well, he wrote the more entertaining parts of Berlin by Night.
Well, I give him credit for that because Berlin by Night's interesting. I like it.
Even though it's a fucking dumpster fire of a book, it's still fun.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't really
go watch the video
book,
for Berlin by Night.
And then Dirty Secrets of the Black Hand, and
Hey, everyone has turds. Everyone has one that's bad.
What was that last one? You seem hesitant.
Dirty Secrets of the Black Hand is why I'm hesitant.
Okay.
Listen, everyone has to have a bad one.
Hey, well, yeah, nobody bats 1,000.
He developed it. Stephen C. Brown is the guy who made that book what it was.
Writing and developing it is two different things. We can forgive him for that.
Yeah, we can go ahead and get past that. Okay, yes. Back to the episode.
I give one criticism of this book. It's probably just the printout. Some of these texts are harder to read.
I didn't read the foreword by Caine itself, just because I couldn't fucking read it.
There's a reprint of this that has brown backgrounds to his text, where there's one part where we're going to the Malkavian part of this book. You can't fucking read it in some of these scans.
No, it's impossible to read. I'd
black
skip past
text
that
on a
because
black
I couldn't
background.
read
What the fuck were you thinking?
No, black text on gray background, very grainy background at that.
And going into it, Lilith teaches Caine a few things. Lilith showed me how she hides herself from hunters, how she commands obedience, and how she demands respect.
I'm sorry. Who is threatening Caine at this point that he needs to hide from hunters?
Well, people want to.
He's in Kidu at this point.
But the sevenfold curse makes it impossible. Where even if you had the power to kill Caine, you would die trying to kill him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that also points out, obfuscate, dominate, and presence. Caine never developed those on his own naturally. He had to be taught those by Lilith.
Yes.
So it's a little funny to me that Ventrue, being the kiss up to Caine, has more in common power-wise with Lilith than he does with Caine. It tickles me knowing that. Same with Set, actually.
Yes.
Afterwards, then awakening myself further, I found the power to alter forms, have ways of dominion over animals, and the way to make eyes see past sight. Protean, animalism, and aspects. Now I might be thinking, didn't Anoia develop Protean on her own? Well, she had Fortitude, and she had animalism. Which means that she never really developed those powers on her own. At some point, well, it's never really specified when this happened, Anoia came into contact with Caine and learned her powers from him. Which I'm pretty sure would have driven Lilith fucking crazy, and explains why during Fairest Foul, Lilith has no contact at all with Anoia.
Well, I mean, it even says, in the page directly after on 39, where it's Lilith commanded I stop, saying that I had overreached my bounds, that I had gone too far, and Caine resists her. He becomes the first rebellion to the original bloodline that had taught him his vampiric powers, which is why he was able to teach Anoia the concepts of Protean to make her closer to Gaia. It was a seed of rebellion towards Lilith herself that made him work with Anoia in order to give her the powers of Protean.
It's a point I'm going to develop as I'm saying it. You remember when you watched The Graduate and you had, of course, you're sleeping with Mrs. Robinson.
Yes.
Then you meet Mrs. Robinson's daughter. You want to sleep with her, and now Mrs. Robinson has a problem all of a sudden?
Yes.
You were already cheating on your husband, and now you say, oh no, you can't sleep with my daughter, it's immortal?
Yes.
It's immortal. It's immoral? Lady, it's already too late for us to draw boundaries like this.
Exactly.
We're already defying God himself.
It's the same kind of relationship. It's like she's trying to take all the affection of Caine for herself when she realizes that there are plainly better alternatives.
Where it paints Caine in a more sympathetic light, where you want to say, well, who's wrong here? If Lilith is wrong, then it goes to show that Lilith is one of those kind of libertarians. The kind that wants infinite rights and the ability to do whatever she wants for herself. But when anyone wants to do anything, no, there's a problem there.
She's Mrs. Robinson.
Lilith wants to say, oh, there's rules for thee, but not for me. She's one of those. But if Caine's in the wrong, then Lilith really has been the cosmic punching bag this entire time, where she's been taken advantage of by everybody she's ever come across her entire life.
That'd be an oddly feminist angle to the Bible story for both Lilith and the Book of Nod for Lilith.
Well, it depends on whether or not your people believe Lilith is canon to the Bible.
That's true. It's all, like she's only mentioned in Isaiah, to my knowledge.
Yeah. She was tacked on after the Talmud and the Torah was written.
Keep talking. I'm really thirsty. I'll be right back.
Good.
So with his new powers, he breaks his bond away from Lilith and leaves her in the land of Nod. He goes back to the land of man, and of course everybody is fucking terrified of this guy when he shows up. We also have a picture generated by 3HB. There you go in studio notes.
Yep. Oh god damn it. I'm Caine. Fuck. Vivsy Pop hired me to be a voice actor.
You were born in sin, and from sin you'll return. Also, he made another picture where it's even better.
That's horrendous. Oh my god! Actually, no. I like this one. I actually look kind of dope in this one. From sin I was born, and from sin I shall return.
And with that, he was banned from the synagogue. We now have to tell.
You glitched out there a sec. Hello? Johnny, did you die on me? More than likely,
did my microphone go up? What the fuck?
Yes, it did. You were on the tail of the crone, correct?
We are going. No, we're going into Zilla's tail.
Really? We're skipping her? Okay.
Yeah. No, because the Zilla's tail goes first. The tail of the crone's after that.
Oh, okay.
So go ahead and get into this. Caine goes back to the land of man and ends up meeting a woman that he wants to get with, Zilla. But nothing works. No gifts, no sacrifices, no perfume, doves, beautiful dances, singers, oxen, sculptures, beautiful clothes. Nothing will turn Zilla's heart over because you're the disgusting man who killed Abel. I don't want you to be my husband. So Caine ends up leaving, goes off into the woods, and finds a crone. Caine stops the crone and says, "Why are you singing in the middle of these woods?" The crone says, "Because I yearn for what I cannot have." Caine said to the crone, "I also yearn. What can one do?" The crone smiles and says, "Drink my blood this night, Caine, father of kindred, and return tomorrow night. Then I will tell you the wisdom of the moon." Caine drank from the crone's bare neck and departed. The next night, Caine found the crone sleeping on a rock. "Wake up, crone," said Caine. "I have returned." The crone opened one eye. "I have dreamt of the solution for you this night. Drink once more from me. Then return tomorrow night. Bring a bowl of clay and a sharp knife. You'll have your answer then." Once again, Caine took the blood from the crone, who immediately fell back into a deep slumber. When Caine returned the next night, the crone looked up at him and smiled. "Greetings, Lord of Beasts," said the crone. "I have the wisdom you seek. Take some of my blood into the bowl you have and mix these berries and herbs, and drink deep of the elixir. You'll become irresistible. You'll become potent, masterful, ardent, glowing. The heart of Zilla will melt like the snows in spring." And so Caine drank from the crone's elixir, because he was so in love with Zilla and he desired her love in return. And the crone laughed. She had tricked him. She had trapped him. Caine was angry beyond compare. Caine reached out with his powers to rend the crone apart with his strength. The crone cackled and said, "Do not."
"Do not."
And Caine could do nothing against her. The crone chuckled and said,
"Love me."
And Caine could do nothing but stare into her ancient eyes, desire her leathery skin. The crone laughed and said,
"Make me immortal."
And Caine embraced her. She cackled again, laughed with pure ecstasy from the embrace, for it did not pain her. "I have made you powerful, Caine of Enoch, Caine of Nod, but you will forever be bound to me. I have made you master of all, but you will never forget me. Your blood, potent as it is now, will bond those who drink it, as you did once a night for 3 nights. You'll be the master. They will be your thrall as you are mine. For though Zilla will love you as you wanted, you will love me forever. Go now and claim your lovely bride. I will wait for you in the darkest places while I brew more potions for your health." Therefore the blood bond now gets added to the vampire's power list.
And so heavy-hearted, Caine returned to Enoch, and each night for 3 nights Zilla drank from her sire, though she did not know it, and on the 3rd night Caine announced he would marry Zilla, his sweetest child, and she agreed.
Okay, so here we start Caine not being able to accept no for an answer.
Yes.
There we are. Because you took control of Lilith, well, guess what? Karma comes around and bites you with this crown. You might be thinking, who in the hell is this crone supposed to be? Because she's just referred to as the crone in the story. We have a name for her, but you do not get it until an actual 11 years later in real time with the Gehenna.
Hang on, let me see.
She is known as Eikos, spelled Eickos, who is this eternal figure that cannot die. And we are given no explanation as to what the fuck she is. She just exists, and she's been an ally of Lilith for thousands of years. And that's it. She's known as the Crone, and it's implied that she was God's first draft of making a woman before he decided he changed his own mind and made Lilith instead. So this is the proto-woman.
Yep. God looked at the crone and went, no. Women should be attractive. Let's try this again.
But instead of smashing the clay figure, you just put off to the side and made a new one.
She's like, I'll use this for a level boss later.
And for a year and a day, Caine labored in service to a crone, who, with blood wisdom, bound him surely as any prisoner. She would visit him at night, force him to give up his blood for her secret elixirs and potent formulas.
She would take his childish Caine, or do you want me to play as the crone?
You be a crone.
All right.
And they would never be heard from again. Anytime Zilla tried to make another vampire, so other antediluvians, the crone would basically diabolize them. Imagine that. That level of power this character has. Oh my god. But Caine was wise. He did not drink from her ever again. And she did not ask him to, thinking that he was ever her thrall. One night, Caine went to the crone in the forest and told her of terrible dreams they had during his sleep. I fear for my life, crone. I fear the prophecy of Ariel, and the children's lust for my blood. Tell me secret knowledge that I might be powerful against my own. And the crone went to a tree made of gopher wood and broke off a limb. She took a sharp knife and sharpened the limb.
Take this piece of living wood, sharp, strong, pierce the heart of your wayward child. It will render him still, and yours to command. Instead of feasting on your heart's blood, he will feel the weight of your justice.
Caine said, "Thank you, mother." And with that, moving in quick movements, Caine took the stake of gopherwood, seized it, and drove it deep within the crone's heart. Because Caine, wise Caine, had not fed upon her for a year and a day, and because he forced his will through her hands, he broke the bond she held on him, and turned his fortune. She laughed again as blood welled up and poured from her mouth. Her eyes poured out hate. Caine kissed her once, kissed her cold, withered lips, and left her there to Raphael's gentle smile as the sun rose. Where it's impossible because this is basically a mortal character that cannot stay dead.
Perhaps, however, this is the very first attempt of a blood bond, save for Lilith, on Caine himself. So Caine, in a way, kind of knew that this would happen.
And being a guy who takes powers, he took that power of the blood bond and added it to his own list of Cainites' powers.
Which is why the blood bond is now possible through all of Cainites up until now. The 15th and or 16th, well, not the 16th generation, but, up until before the Thin Bloods.
Oh, small amendment. I don't think Zilla was embraced just yet. Caine's children's children, those were actual children that Caine was making. Those were Dhampir he was making. So when it comes to vampires, Caine is the only one with a working pair of testicles and a dick that can get a woman pregnant.
Fucking hilarious.
Well, he is prevented from dying, and he has all the other curses save for maybe one or two of them that pervade any other Cainite after him.
And he lived in Nod and loneliness and suffering before coming back to the land of the living. And when he returned to the world of mortals, Seth's thirdborn of Ed and Seth's children that he had created feared him upon his return.
Wait, what happened to his fucking wife? What do you mean he lived in...
Oh, yeah, Zilla?
He's back. He's out of the land of Nod again.
Oh, okay.
He returned and was made welcome with his powers. The people saw his power and worshipped him. He grew powerful, and his power was strong. His ways and awe of command were great. And the children of Seth made him king of their great city, the first city. But Cain grew lonely in his power deep within him. The seed of loneliness blossomed and grew into a dark flower. He saw within his blood the potence of fertility by calling up demons and listening to whispered wisdom. He learned of ways to make a child from his own. He came to know its power and, doing so, decided to embrace one of those near him. The Earthbound taught him how to fucking embrace.
Good job.
Incredible.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. They teach him how to pass the curse on. Uriel appears before him again and says, Cain, powerful though you are, and marked of God.
And marked of God, know you this, that any child you make will bear your curse, that any of your progeny will forever walk in the land of Nod, and fear flame and sun, drinking blood only, and eating ashes only. And since they will carry their father's jealous seed, they will forever plot and fight amongst themselves. Doom not those of Adam's grandchildren who seek to walk in righteousness, Cain. Stay your dread embrace.
Cain said no.
He says, okay, and then proceeds to embrace anyway.
Fuck you, I'm selfish.
The first person that approached him was Enoch, a man who in the Bible was listed to never know death. Instead of dying, was just ushered into heaven by God. This is a man who met God face to face and walked with him multiple times for 365 years. Knowing that Cain was a man cursed by God and wanting to know everything about the God that he so loved, Enoch approached Cain and asked him, can you be the first one to enact this ritual upon me? Cain agreed. He wrapped up Enoch, drained him of his blood, spat a little bit of it back into his mouth, and in the process turned Enoch into the first fully embraced vampire, the first of the second generation. And in doing so, made Enoch king of the first city instead, stepping away to become a ruler from the shadows while Enoch ruled in person. Of course, that became impossible because during the day, Enoch would die if he stepped out into the sunlight in front of his people. So, of course, that led to the first king and first queen that we went over in the Asmite story. But Enoch grew lonely of his own power. Cain's companionship wasn't enough and demanded more. So Cain embraced his wife, Zilla, and who he couldn't have a child with because every single one of their kids fucking died, and Cain had just given up, and Irad, who seemingly just comes out of nowhere. I have to explain who he is. Irad is Enoch's biological son. That's who he is.
So he's like the paladin of Enoch, basically.
So now we have a Mario and Luigi Mario scenario. He is both my brother and my son at the same time.
Yeah, we're just gonna...
It's not fucked up at all, don't worry about it.
And the children of Cain learned the ways of making progeny of their own, and they embraced more of Seth's kin unthinking. And before we go into the next part of that, between all the vampires that were embraced, did Cain have any good relationships with any of the Antediluvians?
Not really.
From my knowledge, no.
He's not really the best of dads.
He kind of just like hung out with them, talked for a little bit on a drunken bender, and then bit them, and that was about it.
Because comparing what we got, he looks over Enoch and says, all right, Enoch, first time embraced. You've gone around embracing these few vampires of your own. Who have you got for me? And Enoch looks over and says, well, I got Erikel. Okay, good. Beautiful woman. Enthralled by beauty. Every time she sees beauty, she stares at it. A little weird, but good pick. And I embraced her twin brother, too. Twin brother. Looks over, and it's fucking Malkav.
And Malkav's just jumping around like that one fucking Kaspersky character that was on that one episode of Smiling Friends.
And he looks back over. Okay, who else do you have? Well, there was also this guy, the eldest. I didn't actually catch his name. I tried to remove all the evil in myself and get rid of my beast by putting it all into him, but I'm still evil, and all my evil now overrode any sort of good that was in the eldest, and he ran off into the mountains, and I haven't seen him since.
All right, you're really starting to fuck up here.
So we got this giant amorphous blob of biomass that spreads an inhuman virus that will eventually grow to kill everybody on the planet in the next 10,000 years, right?
By trying to get one over on God's curse, Enoch basically damns humanity.
That is about as close as an apocalypse scenario as one can get, and it does indeed turn into an apocalypse scenario.
And then, well, he's looking over Enoch and saying, okay, you're scoring pretty low here. 1 out of 3 of these is going to embrace. Well, I got one more. We got Solot. Who's that? He looks over and, aha, somebody who looks like Abel physically and who sounds like Abel. Caine, of course, would have a massive relationship with Solot, seeing him as this replacement goldfish for his dead brother. And the relationship was good. We went over in detail with it in the Slippery episode, until Solot comes back one day and says, did I make the right decision, Caine? What are you talking about? I met some guys next to a well. Their names were Nurgle, Shaitan, and Moloch, and they asked me for my blood. Did you give it to them? Yes. Caine goes to check it out. It's the Bali. The three Bali vampires.
They're evil.
They're more evil than Caine. Caine realizes the destructive potential behind them, throws them down a well, looks over at Solot and says, you fucking idiot, what did you think you were doing with that? They just asked me for blood, and I just wanted to see what happened. Well, how about you stop giving your blood around? And Caine, of course, dips. Solot goes into the depression corner, and then, lo and behold, the first Bali War happens after those 3 men crawl out of that well, now as demonic vampires. And thankfully, Caine went over what was about to solve the problem on his own, but Samuel existed. A good person that, well, Solot was supposed to give a chill pill to with his blood, but Samuel was still violent anyway, but more virtuous. As Samuel went out, handled the Bali Wars almost by himself, and then Caine turned around, just left, and looked over at Solot and said, you fucking idiot. And then, which eventually led to Solot's month-long depression where, I'm forgetting the name of I think Genevieve was her name?
I think so,
Sticking by his side the entire time. Caine goes over to Irad. All right, what do you have for me? Irad points over, I got Bruja. And Caine looks over and sees this completely emotionally dead woman that refuses to make eye contact with anybody and has immediately embraced her boyfriend, Troil, a very confrontational man that needs to start start something where there is nothing, and is a just very unpleasant person to be around.
This is going to be wonderful. Very good. Mm-hmm.
All right, who else you got? Well, we got Cappadocius, and Caine looks over. Cappadocius being a fucking weirdo who's obsessed with God, studying God in order to find out the mastery over life and death. And there's nothing wrong with Cappadocius. It's just
he rubs them the wrong way.
He's creepy.
I don't like so far you guys been turning. I don't think it's a good idea. These are weird people.
Irad looks over, thinking Caine's gonna be impressed. Caine's not. Who else do you have? And he says, well, there was a guy, I didn't catch his name. I think his name was Lasambo. I embraced him, and then he just slithered into the ocean. I haven't seen him since.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have anyone else? And Irad points over at Ventru, and Ventru is looking over at Caine with this I'm your biggest fan t-shirt. And, well, we got 1 out of 4. Like, maybe we have something to replace the failure that was Solot, but he realizes very quickly that Ventru is not going to be that guy. Ventru is a pet to Caine. Yeah, Ventru is this yes man that says yes to everything Caine does. He doesn't push back like Solot did. He doesn't really challenge him like Solot did. There's nothing to really gain from talking to him. He's just a guy who just loves Caine.
He's just the company Kiss has. It's like you've got Starscream. It's like, could this thing possibly get any worse? And then you got Venture going, yeah, well, that was pretty dumb, huh?
And great. We can't really have the relationship with Venture that we want. Hold on a minute. Someone's killing my king and queen. Caine looks over, finds Hakim has killed the king and queen after he found out what vampires were. Tries to kill Caine. which would not have worked. Caine embraces him, throws him out to the desert, and did not know that Hakim had followers who dragged him back to Alamut all the way over in Iran to start the Assamites.
You must find all of the vampires, and you must kill them for what they have done to me.
Caine just pinches the bridge of his nose. Okay, Zilla, who do you have? He looks over and says, this needs to be better than the last guy you embraced, Absimiliard. Look, you're my wife, and I know you saw this guy in the woods, and then you fucked him, and gave him your blood, but he ran off into the woods, and we haven't seen him since, this Absimiliard guy, so I forgive you for that. It looks over at Zilla.
I did drug you.
He's looking over, why are you giving me that look? And Zilla looks over, now don't be mad, but when I was in Assyria, there was this guy. Yes. He was a teenager. Yes. His name was Set. He said he really needed a friend that night, and I was that to him. Did you embrace him? Yes. Caine just, by this point, just puts his hands up and just dips.
Honestly, I would too. And I'm like, okay, no, fuck it. This whole thing's just been a huge disaster. Let's get out of here.
It's not bad that your wife cheats on you once with Absimiliard, but cheats on you again with Set.
With Set, who has the potential to end the goddamn world.
And this is Set before he became that guy.
Yeah.
This was Set at his low point. Is what you.
Yeah, when he 1v1'd all of the Macaulay and the Silent Striders. Yes, at his lowest.
No, even before that happened. This because he was embraced before he confronted Ra.
Fuck.
Yeah, so Set looks over and says, all right, no more embracing. You stop embracing. No more vampires. Quick, give him my blood around. He dips, goes over to India to clear his head, meets Ravnos, and immediately makes the same mistake he did with Saul all over again. But this time, he's the one to embrace Ravnos, and then we see him completely burn down a sort of bridge, because Ravnos was not the same after his embrace. The Silent Striders told him to fuck off, and he did. He leaves, unknowingly passing Salat, who was on his way to China, talk to the Zhao brothers. He comes back to find that Irad, Enoch, and Zilla have met final death. I believe we punched these numbers before in another episode, I'm forgetting which one, where when it came to who killed the Antediluvians, only 4 names can I bring up when it comes to this. It's plausible that Cappadocius was involved, but Arakel, Malkav, Absimiliard, and Bruja were the only people that could have done it. But even in Bruja's case, Bruja didn't lift a finger during the entire fight. Troil did all the fighting for her.
Yes. And it didn't come to the point in which Troil actually just deaberized Bruja?
Well, it got to a point because Troil realized that Bruja didn't lift a finger during that whole raid. She didn't actually love him as much as he loved her, and that led to the debauchery.
Right.
And the only reason why Irad the Strong lost that fight was because he didn't take Troil seriously during their fight. That's the only reason why.
Troil was always a better Bruja than Bruja.
And Erica and Malkav, I don't know how they got one over on Enoch, but they did. And then Absimiliard got his petty little revenge. Like you said before,
Malkav can just change reality to win.
And after Caine comes back, he catches Malkav, who... Well, Malkav in all of his wisdom just ran right the fuck up to Caine after killing Enoch and said something to Caine.
It was like, hey, you're really fucked up here. And then Caine went, I'm sorry, you said what to me?
He grabs Malkav by the throat, holds him up to the sky, and shows Malkav a direct vision of heaven and God's true form. That drives Malkav to insanity.
Don't you dare criticize me, boy.
He looks over at Absimiliard and says, who killed my wife? Who was it? Arakel dips. Troil has already run off across the world at super speed. Absimiliard is the only one left behind. He says, you. He catches Absimiliard, breaks him over his knee, and mangles him to the point where it permanently taints him from being the Antediluvian of Clan Niktuku to the Antediluvian of Clan Nosferatu.
Yep.
Everyone that Absimiliard embraced was beautiful until Caine got his hands on them. After which he threw Absimiliard to the side, and placed a curse upon all the Antediluvians, no matter who they were. At some point, the curse of ages will fall upon you. You will all fall into torpor. You will all go to sleep and not wake up. And then, when you think your clan is at its highest point, will be the day that you lose everything. You're on a downward spiral, and there will be no way you can ever come off of it.
So
Caine looks over it.
He started Gehenna before it even began, thousands of years ago. Then
he looks over at Ventrue and says, "Yeah, I know I cursed you. Big fucking deal. I don't give a shit about you, Ventrue. Figure out how to maintain the Masquerade on your own. I don't care if we get exposed. I don't care if we all die. If you want to figure it out, do it on your own fucking time. I'm done with you." Looks over at Salat and says, "You know you messed up, right?" Salat says, "Yeah, I know." Caine looks over at Salat and says, "Next time I see you, shoot first." Caine leaves Salat, breaking off that friendship forever. Caine finds a hole somewhere, crawls into it, and does not crawl back out.
And this is when the deluge happened.
Yes, where the first city was already gone by that point because the wickedness of the second generation prompted that flood to happen. But of course, they survived being vampires. They proceeded to make the same mistakes all over again with the second city, and after Caine left, it turned out he was the linchpin, keeping everyone in check of the second city, where they proceeded to all attack each other. The second city was destroyed, and everyone scattered. Enoya went off into the east, where she made contact with Ravnos. Arakel seemingly dipped from reality altogether. Malkav, Salat, and Set all clung to each other like a life raft. Absimiliard, ashamed of himself, vanished from human history. Hakim would set up his assassin castle in Alamut, where he remained secret for years and years until Nosferatu figured out where he was. Cappadocius went over to where Cappadocia would be and set up his research laboratory there. Eventually would find Kamakli and set up another laboratory there. The Zamichi Antediluvian would proceed to drill a massive hole underneath the Carpathian Mountains and become the mountains. And Vedortha Ventrue would go off to save Vampire Society. Oh no, he was downbrized by Lasombra.
Yeah, close enough.
Who then Lasombra would just go back into his hole to hell, where he would discover the win condition for the World of Darkness, only for the Illness to realize it at the same time. And now it just is a contest of who's going to end the world first. Will it be Lasombra or will it be Zamichi?
Well, what would Lasombra do? Would he basically just get into contact with a worm through his office gate and go, "Hey, you're here, I'm here, everything else is going to shit, what do you need me to do?"
Well, what happens with Lasombra is that we see in the Crucible of God, he blots out the sky.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then all the vampires can just come the fuck out.
Oh, it's more so than that. Because it's his obtenebration that's doing it, he cuts off humanity's connection to the Umbra in doing so as well.
Oh, okay, so it's basically Weaver ascending in Time's Judgment Gehenna come into one.
And he cuts the Weaver out of her own deal because he locks her out of the Gauntlet as well.
He's in control of the Gauntlet.
And by doing so, he kills all life on Earth that is not human.
So what are the humans going to eat?
That's exactly it. Every animal and every plant dies over the course of 7 days of him doing this.
This is a good idea.
And after Lasombra deals his damage, he just dips.
He's basically a turbo nihilist at this point. He's like, fuck it, end the world, I'm done, I'm out, bye.
That was the other vampires. They're like, fuck you, what are the humans going to eat now, Lasombra?
Yep. And then he was like, I'll figure it out, bitch, and then he just fades into darkness.
Which prompts Tremere to accelerate his research, and he learns the true name of humanity. And after Tremere learns this, that's when Zamichi flips the switch and takes over humanity. And that's how Crucible of God ends.
Mary, you could use your magic to make food for the humans. You rolled over them.
No, because the thing is, it's not an act of charity at that point. They don't realize that charity be the way to win the humans over. They want complete domination and control. So that's the first and direct route they're going to take. And of course, they're going to fuck that up because humans need autonomy in order to seem like they have some sort of decision in the matter, which is why, Zamichi would immediately launch the fucking vicissitude virus and then just be smote by the Crucible of God.
The only reason why Lasombra hasn't done that yet is because Lasombra lacks motivation. He just doesn't see a reason for him to do it.
He probably already knows the ending if he were to do what he planned to do.
And Zenitsu hasn't done it because Zenitsu wants to see the World of Darkness reach a natural conclusion before he wins.
Yeah, because he's like, I know what I'm going to do is going to end the world, so I at least want to know what it's like to win for a minute before I get smote from the earth.
Let you have a false sense of hope before I snatch it away from you.
Let me have some cake and eat it too to just make the flood. Yeah, actually, that poses an interesting question. Suppose this is an atheist interpretation of the World of Darkness. Zenitsu takes over the world, creates the hive mind that is the vicissitude virus, and then Threat Null comes to try and fight him.
As of that, so
that'd be really crazy, man. Like,
that would be awesome. I'm just gonna say that'd be sick as fuck. It's the Borg versus the fucking Flood. That'd be cool as shit.
Well, Kyle, if you want to set up a Warhammer 40k game, you play Necrons, I play Tyranids.
That's basically what it'd turn into: is Necron versus Tyranid, is the Borg versus the Flood.
And finally, it's also listed as for the guy who ruined the second city. Shroyle's listed by name. It's his fucking fault it all fell apart.
Yep. Although I would say one thing, it is mentioned in Glasswalker's first edition. The Glasswalkers actually were in the second edition, a second city as well.
Yes, and they were there to see this happen.
Yes, and apparently they also helped with making it, which once again shows you the fucking Glasswalkers.
Yeah,
Warders of Men at that time, but yes,
it doesn't matter if it fucks them over; they want to participate in it.
Yes,
I just love building, so I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's make this fucking shit.
It's like, oh, there's a thing that goes taller than trees. Let's build that shit.
And then page 56 is the questions and answers portion, basically, where if you had any questions about what you just read, 56 explains away some of the stuff.
Yeah, there's a number of different notes made by, forgive me, who was the guy? It was Lucas something, right?
De
Laurent. Yeah, the sire of Beckett. Matter of fact, Beckett in this particular section is mentioned several times in this part.
As he'll be the one to finish the book.
Yes. Note number 13, I think he mentions him, where he's talking about, let's see, he represents it as Adam, who is the father in the stanza, who casts Cain out, reasoning that he's behind the one above that never speaks directly to Cain. It is only through the medium the one communicates. And then he mentions later in this passage that in New York, Beckett was a member of the Sabbat. So Beckett, surprisingly, former Sabbat member turned independent because he was more involved in the pursuit of knowledge of Cain, as Beckett himself, I believe, follows the Path of Caine. Once a member of the Sabbat who claimed the section referred to the quote-unquote true father, which is Satan, Lucifer himself. De Laurent watched Beckett while he found this, and then Beckett described an imp on his shoulder when he had spoken to this former Sabbat member, about this particular mote in the Genesis story, which I think is really interesting that Beckett has ties to Demon the Fallen. Again, I can't stop coming up with reasons to love Beckett, man. I love Beckett. He's so cool.
He also notes in note 22 that the Order of Hermes claimed that Lilith was no woman at all.
Yes.
Instead, this almost like this magical construct that just awakened herself and brought herself into being.
So it's a construct made by God, perhaps as prototype V2, after failing with the crone, making Lilith, found out that Lilith had become self-aware, so to speak, and then making Eve in order to be the perfect wife from Adam. So he took basically the parts of Lilith that he liked as Eve V3, basically, and made Eve herself.
As for that mage interpretation, if Lilith has a connection to an avatar, she could be an avatar herself, and could end up running over and making contact with any human host. So that's your Mage Chronicle right there. Lilith's latest incarnation is what you deal with in your plot.
Yes.
So she's a mage or a pseudo-mage? Or...
Well, that's what the Hermes believe.
Yeah.
I don't like when there's double dipping. I just me.
And of course, because the mages are always strongly willed as to what they believe. So for all your Mage the Ascension people that refuse to get along with everyone else in the World of Darkness, there's your mage content for you.
Wouldn't it be fucking hilarious if the magus has made her a mage by you made her a mage by thinking she's a mage?
Once again, Mage the Ascension, all you had to do was nothing.
Yep.
It's all you had to do. Just take your hands off, let the situation solve itself.
All you had to do was cheat once, and everything solves itself.
We didn't go into the Chronicle of Shadows, going over what the mission is supposed to be. This is supposedly what Caine said, even though Caine will tell you that he didn't say any of this. Thou shalt not make progeny against my will, and if you are given leave, then choose the children of Adam's well. Think of them as your future brother or sister. Look for the everlasting night ahead, and know Uriel's prophecy, that forever shall child rise up to slay sire. Know thou that, as in all things, the father overcomes the child, the mother her daughter. Only through me will there be truth, peace, and your awakening to power. Know thou that right of life and death, as it was in my times, will ever be the sire's over the child. For it has been said in heaven, as well as in the world, the way things are. My father Adam over me, I over you, you my children, over all progeny you get. Thou shalt not suffer your child to live, if it is found that he has killed one of your brothers, and has drunken his heart's blood. This is the serpent's way, and I will not abide it. Thou shalt not embrace those who are unworthy. Thou shalt not use the embrace as punishment. Neither shall you embrace the youngest, who should live long before they're brought into my family, so that the wisdom of our line will grow. I believe you have somebody in Montreal by night to say that to.
Yeah, a little bit. Just a bit. Don't worry about it.
Thou shalt not embrace those who are diseased, insane, or full of ill humors, for they will take my blood. So thank you, Clan Malcath, for completely ignoring that stanza.
Basically.
Well, tell you the truth, they all ignore these rules.
Yes.
Never shall there be more kindred of Cain than kindred of Seth in a place. Neither should there be one of Cain for every 3 of Seth. It's more like one of every 50,000, if I'm right to modern day equations in Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah.
All children should learn from their sire the laws and traditions, the rights of the customs, as I have given them to you. Thou shalt not embrace the moon beast, for these should be outcast and called abominations. Neither should you taste their blood, for they are forbidden, they bring death to our door. Do not fucking do it. Do not embrace a werewolf, because that will just bring nothing but shit to your direction. This is why no vampire does it, because they know the juice is not worth the squeeze. It does not matter that it is a werewolf.
I fucked that up in Russia. Wolves. I should have gunned down Rap Red's character when I had the chance, but I was too low on health.
And it is going to bring nothing but worm shit to your domain as well, so it's just not worth the trouble.
You're out of your fucking soul. You have no way to resist the worm.
Embrace not the blood of the enlightened. Rather listen to their words. Watch their actions and move swiftly against them should they strike. A useful sword, but often too sharp. If you want to get involved with the mage, that's your prerogative. If it's up to you, it's going to go badly for you, but it's up to you if you want to do it.
That's why they say listen to their words. Learn from the mage. Don't attack the mage.
Which is why Howler, that during your conversation with Dorian, even though you pissed him off by going into his domain, he did not at any point attack you.
Because he's following a true path of Caine.
It was also a 4 versus 1 situation. He had to intimidate his way out of that conversation.
I think we may have been able to take him.
You could have. He was in Zulu form. You would have suffered some losses, but you could have beat him.
One or two of you might have died, but again, when it comes to a role-playing game where everybody likes their character, self-preservation takes precedence.
It's the same thing with the same hypothetical of you're on a trolley, robbing it. You have 6 bullets in your gun. There's 10 people in the trolley. Sure, some people are going to die, but if it comes down to a fight, you're not going to be able to kill everybody on that train.
It is, how do I get at least 4 of these people out of the train to kill them individually before they actually figure out what's going on?
Taste not the blood of wild ones, for it is their madness. Neither should you embrace them, for you will not survive it. And then Clan Kiaseed existed.
No one's listening to Caine.
Embrace
is.
not love. Love in my embrace will grow cold, wither, and die. So Clan Torador proceeded to ignore everything
Troyal
about that.
just threw that out the fucking... Or not Troyal, Arakel just threw that out the fucking window.
So did Bruja, actually.
That's true as well. And that didn't go well either.
He then said something else that he did not say. We are given dominion over the line of Seth, third son of Adam, as he is our youngest brother. We will watch over his children as if they were our own. We will show them the right way, and in return, they will serve us for all their days. They will serve us while the sun rises in the sky, and watch over our houses with quenching water against Michael's fire. They will feed us and provide us with their clothes. They will dance for us and provide us with song. They will lay with us and provide us their comfort. They will advise us, and we will listen to their advice. They will worship us, and we must not allow their worship. Thou shalt not become a god to the children of Seth, for the one above, growing jealous in his sky, will strike down the line of Cain forever. Remember the gentle face of Ashtoreth. Remember golden fat Baal. Remember strong Tammuz. Know that the children of Seth will rise up with weapons from the one above and conquer us, should we be as gods against them. They're basically saying these different allegorical gods that rose in the face of the Hebrews, note that God's chosen people killed all of them.
Yes.
He's also giving warning of the Inquisition,
the Inquisition of the Nephandi with Baal, with the Sethites, with the Hunters, with the children of Seth.
Eventually, they imbued.
Yes.
He's basically also saying, listen, God actually loves humanity. He will bless them to kill you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
That's exactly what he's saying with the children of Seth.
Thou shalt guide the children of Seth as a shepherd guides his flock, and cull them as they are needed. Thou shalt cleanse their blood and keep all of them free from disease.
Which is what Salah was intending to do until fucking, Salah screwed the pooch on that, yeah.
To be fair, the Sabbat technically are breaking Cain's word because Cain still cared about humanity.
He did. He cared not enough to not become this lording tyrant over them. He was the king, but he was not this genocidal figure that almost destroyed humanity or anything like that. He was not letting a Fondi in any way.
There is a difference between a king and a tyrant. A king just means ruler of the lands. When translated directly from Latin, that is Caesar himself. Meanwhile, a tyrant or a dictator is that which commands. That is the person who tells somebody what to do when they do it. There is a very sturdy difference between a king and a tyrant.
And as for Cain now, he's just realized that everything he touches goes to shit, so he's just given up. He just wants to sleep until Gehenna happens.
Again, very nihilist book.
When you think about all the factions have little bits of Cain's teachings, but they are leaving out other parts of it as well.
Is that
the camera? Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, the Camarilla have the whole, you're not supposed to directly rule over humanity, just guide them. The Sabbat are rejecting, their humanity, but they're cruel to humans, and the Anarchs are just, they don't obey their elders. They think they're better than their elders.
And when it came to disciplines as well, with the Path of Caine, they encourage you to learn the 9 disciplines that Cain developed on his own. So that also raises the question where did some of these other disciplines come from? Where Malkav developed demontation after Cain cursed him, and it mutated what his domination was, turning it into a more destructive form of dominate that Malkav could not use for any practical purpose beyond just making people insane.
Yes.
Salat learned on his own what Valorant was after talking with Cain enough, and realized that he could develop his own powers the same way that Cain did, and that's what he discovered, the ability to touch souls and manipulate them. Bruja developed Temporis out of desperation upon realizing that Troil could turn around and kill her, so she upgraded her own form of celerity. Cappadocian's magic, along with every other Bloodlines magic, that was something that they eventually realized they could do, but Cain didn't realize that at the time. It was when his own prodigy started developing magic that he realized that he could do thaumaturgy as well. Every discipline that's out there, Cain could do it after someone else realized they could do it.
One thing I noticed, though, in this book is that it mentions the Giovanni, but not Cappadocius.
Which goes to show that this book has been tampered with.
Yeah, because it sees, like, I see it's in quotes, so I think that Giovanni at one point should have been Cappadocius, but was not directly mentioned.
Which is why it goes to show that this book is filled with unreliable narrator.
That,
it's not necessarily
Toreador,
gospel.
not Toreador, but Tremere was not mentioned either, I realize.
Tremere doesn't exist yet, I don't think.
Certainly not, no.
And they would certainly want nothing to do with them. This takes place after 1313 is when this translation is made, because that's the conspiracy of Isaac.
While they don't like the Tremere still count as vampires, so if they're killed, does Caine feel that?
Yes.
Okay.
La Sombra developed a tenebration by speaking with actual demons in hell. Hakim developed Quietus as a means of trying to fight and kill Caine, which he tried to do, by the way. Hakim came back to Caine for round 2, and in his fight with Caine, realized that he was not going to win. Caine could not deal enough damage to Hakim to kill him, but then Hakim realized that he theoretically could kill Caine, but the sevenfold curse would kill Hakim if he did that. So Hakim had to concede that fight and he had to flee instead. Because it goes to show just how astronomically powerful Hakim has become.
He is basically Muslim Caine at this point in time.
Set's power of Serpentis is a direct wormish mutation. It was Protean, but it became Serpentis after he came in direct contact with the Pap. And then Zimichi developed vicissitude with Kupala to make that power.
Well, Kupala, as we described in the Zimichi video, was another demon herself.
Oh yes, one made out of piles and piles of flesh that constantly shift.
Again, biomass. So a lot of the hitches in Caine's plan to begin with, a lot of that was worm-born. Worm-born or mage-born, because with Mage it was Tremere. With Hakim, that was just Hakim being Hakim, which is why I love the Assamites so much. But in the event of both Set meeting a pet, which is an aspect of the worm, and the Elder, both of those are wormish.
Yes. It's ultimately, by getting away from God and heaven, you leaned further and further into the Demiurge's hands that try like worm. And in doing so, directly empower the clans that would be the ones to start Gehenna. A genius move that you did not realize that you were doing.
It was great 40 chess on the part of the worm.
After all, the worm just needs to sit and wait, and the places will just fall where the worm needs them to be.
Until, again, he just gets smote by God. But that is one of many, many scenarios.
As going into this, of the gifts of Caine, it basically just says, we encourage you to blood bond people, and we encourage you to develop your disciplines, and that's all it really says.
Once you get past, like, the rules of Caine, the book sort of just becomes poetry at that point.
On those who serve, you choose those to bless with the potence of Caine, may come to live within your house to protect you. Let no one embrace these guardians. Do not embrace your fucking ghouls. Do not do it. Let their strength be your strength that does not abate within the sun. Let their eyes be yours, eyes that can see in the day. Let their ears be yours, that can hear while you slumber. Let those who serve be named the greatest of children of Seth and the most privileged. Let them enjoy the same fine things that you enjoy. Let them protect you from those who would hinder and hurt you. And let us all rise up in outrage should one of those who serve be slain by another kindred, for no kindred has the right to kill another servant without provocation.
Okay, so let's make sure that none of them follow that shit.
Yes. Treat your ghouls well, which is...
The opposite of what every other vampire does.
Don't murder your ghouls.
Which, ironically, I think the only clan I can name that treats their ghouls well are the Setites. And that's it.
Well, I don't know. I think the Toreador do that all right as well.
I was going to say one thing. The Tremere treat everyone like shit, so it's not like they favor it. So technically you are being treated well because you're being just as shitty as the rest of the clans.
I'm suspect of whether or not Tremere ever read the book or not.
They probably didn't. They were like, this is a bunch of fucking Christian aguash. This isn't true magic. Fuck it.
Technically, he's following the rule of let them sleep and eat as you do, because they're all treated like
It's
shit.
like, oh, you sleep like shit and you eat like shit, therefore you're just as shit as the rest of us.
The moon beast, the ones who change, they're oldest of all before my father. That goes and says that none
The
of us know that
werewolves
there were
strongly predate Caine.
The Macaulay and the Rokea were around before Caine was.
Yes.
And the Korax might have been. Maybe.
Depending on when they became like rats in biology. Long before humans. So I think, yes, maybe.
Which is fascinating because they predate. So the Celestial Chorus believe that they are technically still creations of the One. But Caine is saying they're before the Father. So, wait, the Father is Adam.
This kind of contradicts the theory that we had earlier that God himself is the Wild.
Because you had the Drakids, who were these reptile people that were made by Gaia that had Macaulay DNA inside of them.
Yes.
Essentially, proto-humans that may or may not have been inspired and designed by the Fallen before they became the Fallen.
I feel like we do need to actually solidify this timeline at a certain point in time, because if Caine is in this book and he's saying that the changelings, that is Phara plural, are older than his father, and his father is Adam, that is the first human. That is technically correct that the Garo and the rest of the Phara came before Adam himself, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, there was life before Adam.
But we also theorized that God himself was the Wild.
Yeah, the girl were made in direct retaliation to the evils of humanity. So they were made after Caine did the thing. And then the werewolves were made after that. So we had Macaulay, we had Rokea, we may or may not have had Korax during this time.
Right.
Yeah, because not all the shifter breeds were made at the same time. Well,
yeah, that in Greek theology is theorized. The Hellenist Greeks are around about the 4000s BC, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
Yes.
So that would, be around about the same time as the Book of Nod. So yeah, that kind of lines up.
Tarry not in the path of them. Avoid them. They set upon us like wolves in a sheepfold. For we are one kind, and they are another. Beware their sacred ground, walk softly through the wilderness. Their bite is our bite, their claws as our claws. Tarry not in the path of them. They are of one kind, and we are another. Do not fuck with these guys, it's just not worth the trouble.
That is one thing that I think actually every single vampire takes into effect. Is don't fuck with the Phara.
It's not worth the trouble, it comes with it.
It certainly is not. They're scary motherfuckers.
It's only when you're on the same level of astronomic power as someone like Marcus Vattel can you do that.
Again, but that requires you to be Marcus Vattel.
Who is bordering on
what is he?
When he was embraced.
5th generation, I guess.
And even then, he was embraced during the Roman Empire's reign.
So 5th generation sounds about right for Marcus
around
Vattel.
2,000 years old as well.
Yep.
Of the wild ones. Of the mad ones, the wild ones, I say first, drink not of their blood, but watch them, for they are beautiful in their wilderness. They are enchanting in mystery. They are deadly in war skills. Alone among the creatures of the night, they kept me company on the earth and brought me water when I was thirsty and I could breathe. Like me, they were cast out. Like my children, they are homeless. Like my children's children, they wander. Like my mother and father, they know too much, but they keep their own counsel. And of them I say, mark me well, keep silent. Say nothing. Watch and learn.
This is of the changelings, if I'm not mistaken, yes?
And the true Fae, in this case.
Yes. Especially this time of the timeline, back when Arcadia was still a very real place.
Which Caine came into contact with and inspired by killing Adam. Not Adam, Abel.
Yes.
And of the enlightened. The mother power Dark Lilith is one of the greatest of them, but there are others and more yet to come. Drink not of their blood, for they will ensnare you. There are different spells you can do as a mage that makes it possible for you to blood bond a vampire, not the other way around, if they come into contact with their blood. Keep aware of them, they are crafty. They know Adam's knowledge and Eve's wisdom. They are the bringers of fire, the tillers of soil, husbanders of animals, bringers of writing. They are the sun's children, the rising stars. They will seek to involve you in their journey. Resist. Resist their paths, disregard hunger, blood, and body. Trust not the ones with bright eyes towards the dawn. Remember always, it is the dawning that brings your death. If you mess with a mage, that's on you.
Wait, hold up. Let me scroll back to where Lilith had first instructed Caine, because if I'm wrong,
She had bright eyes, yes.
Protean. Oh wait, no, that's not. It's to obfuscate, dominate, presence.
Yes.
This would make Lilith I need to double check this because I need to be entirely certain.
Because all those spells you can't expend away in Mage Ascension. That's of the Mind Sphere. You can replicate each of those with Mind 3.
It's also hilarious to remember that in the World of Darkness, a mage during these times was someone who figured out how to make fire.
Yes.
This would make Lilith the first of the Celestial Chorus, if I'm not... Wait, no, because their seat's prime, so that's different.
I guess Akashic Brother in this case.
Either Akashic or Verbena, I guess, is the only thing I could use to describe her accurately. That would make Lilith the first of either the Akashics or of the Verbena, I guess.
And this is back when the Akashic records still existed. She could access those.
Yes. That's kind of fucking terrifying to think of, that Lilith could be that powerful of a mage.
Of those spirits of the dead, mark you well. There is a place beyond spirit, beyond life, which is darkness, shadow, and there shadows dwell. An island, a fortress, a land of the dead. I have traveled there through the pathway of doom, and I have witnessed the dread king of the Stygian city as he sat in court. I have seen the faceless, hooded ones traversing river Styx. They swarm about us like flies on a putrefying corpse, and like us feed on fear, ecstasy, and anger. Dead they are, but undead, and they are closer to us than we'll ever know. The blood of my brother cries out to me as I sleep, as the sun crosses the sky. I hear my brother, second-born Abel, screaming. Mark well the spirits of those who have died. Know their strength is not your own. Listen to their words, they carry wisdom. Listen not to their songs, that way is oblivion. Do not seek to bind them, but free them if you can. Such is a commandment of Caine, who himself has been imprisoned and freed.
So, with wraiths,
get them out of here. It seems like every single spot says, if you come encounter a wraith, get them out of here, or you get out.
This implies that Caine has met, oh goodness gracious,
Abel.
Why am I? Not Abel. I mean, yeah, he's met Abel. It's his brother.
Charon.
Charon, yes.
Yes. Where he has encountered him, and he knows, he looked at this guy, and he saw somebody with an ambition of world domination, something that Caine knew that he was going to accomplish, and Charon was a guy who could succeed in that. He had the stones, even in death, to do that.
He saw the Mycenaean Charon and decided, no, don't fuck with that.
You imagine how much his head would spin if he met the Jade Emperor.
No, Caine would have stepped into the sun if that was the case.
Of the commandments of the kindred, thou shalt not slay thy sire and drink his heart's blood. The Sabbat just ripped that entire page out of the book.
Sorry, yeah.
That's the entire jihad summarized right there.
It's like, yeah, no, we're gonna get rid of that.
Mark's also gonna follow that.
Thou shalt hold the eldest among you as Lord. Even I am your father, the eldest closest to me. Thou shalt honor each other's house. Thou shalt honor each other's domain. Thou shalt not reveal yourself as God to the children of Seth, the Libon. The Libon. Honor another's progeny. Honor always your sire. Thou shalt teach your progeny the ways of the kindred. Thou shalt not embrace love.
No, you fucked that up.
The Sabbat ain't doing any of these. Thou shalt not feed on the moon beast, the wild ones, the diseased, the drunken, the insane.
You really fucked that up.
Thou shalt always protect those who serve.
Fuck that up too.
Okay, to an extent with some of these clans. The Ventru, yes. The Bruja, no. To your brothers and sisters, always give hospitality. To your sire's brothers and sisters, always give the best part of your house. To your progeny's brothers and sisters, give the roof from the sun and the blood of the sheep no more. Never forgive your sire's sire, Cain the Wanderer. Sorry, never forget your sire's sire. Well, you cannot forgive him either for putting you in this shit.
I certainly can't. And if I met him, well, I'd probably have a harsh word before he obliterates me.
And now for the heresy. You ready for this? Let's see how the other clans have twisted these words. Brujas perspective.
I was going to say, there's one of these for the ones for Cappadocia. It is so hard. I don't think it can actually even be read. But we can go.
Brujas commandment. Throw off the elder's shackles of the mind. Reach into thyself and see the truth revealed. The truth is seen, will illuminate your soul and heal your wounds. Know who you are first, and be your true self. You are my children. All but I would sooner shatter you like flawed pottery than have your weakness be that you are but a flawed copy out of my mold.
Now, Troy, you're out of your fucking mind. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Immediately breaking the first one.
Troy looks over at Cain and says, "Who the fuck do you think you are, Unc? I make my own decisions around here."
Troy's just Billy from Deadlock. It's some bullshit.
It really is that. There was no negotiating anything with Troy.
No. He was going to sit there with fucking Baal in whatever fucking temple they were at in goddamn Carthage and just fuck off and have sex. Fuck it.
You see why him and Moloch attracted each other like a magnet.
Yeah, no kidding. Because Moloch was also the one that helped fucking corrupt Salat, and Salat was just trying to do the right thing where he fucked up at.
And because of Moloch's actions, that's why Carthage was destroyed.
God damn it.
The words of the gangrel to his childer. They refer to Enoya as a man in this.
Well, Enoya, we really don't know what shape Enoya takes.
Lo, my children, you will walk the earth. Wander far and carry these words. Move one step before those who see by the moon. Never abide weakness. Keep your children loyal. Walk with your head high. Let the beast rule you. Mark where you hunt, so that your brothers and sisters will know not to intrude. Take all you need, but be mindful that the hunter can become the hunted, and there are those who find us no matter how we flee. Should you become confused, go eat only animals for a moon, and sleep on the earth and drink its sweet water. You will hear my voice in your ears, like a distant bird cry or a lion's roar, and you will know what to do. Let no one say that House Gangrel is dishonorable. Let no one say that we are not brave, that we are not fair. You, a child of the beast, a child of darkness, are first among kindred.
I'm going to be honest. So far, that's not unreasonable.
Well, at the same time, it's heretical because Enoya never really cared about human dominion.
No. Then again, Troya was one with... Or not Troya. Enoya was one with Gaia, so...
Yes. Because after all, she gave up her life and fused with Gaia in one of the Gehenna scenarios.
Yes.
And as for... pulling up the copy of the book of Night, I was out for the Malkavian part.
Which is really hard to read because it's all in black goddamn ink.
I was able to find a copy of this earlier that was better, that had better page colors. I need to consult my brother's history of that, which is where I'm going to bring up a little factoid. So you know that Lilith had 5 other kids?
Did she?
And that Enoya and Lilith have no contact with each other? Part of that was that in order to make sure that Lilith would never rise up against Cain and fight him and win, Cain did order his second generation and third generation to kill all of Lilith's remaining children. That happened.
Well.
And Enoya was spared because Enoya approached Cain and saw Cain as more interesting than her own biological mother. Which is why the two of them have no contact with each other at all. You can see why.
Certainly, yes.
You took the man who signed me out over your own flesh and blood mother. Where, once again, it kind of puts in perspective just how benevolent was Enoya.
I mean, in all honesty, like, for whatever reason, I still feel justified in making Cult of Gangrel.
That's because you're a wolf boy. I was about to say the G at the end of the end. I had to stop myself on that.
You're more than welcome to, but
Malkav's words.
yes.
In the singing shuddered midnight, by the cruel sands of time, through the bloody gates of heaven, past the centuries in my mind, bring about the change so quickly. Bring about the terror's night. Bring about the blood of lovers. Bring about the smell of fright. I see you watching where I walk, through the moonlit jasmine field. Listen closely as I talk about the stars in their lovers' past. Past fields of poppies burning bright, into towers of blackened bone. Follow me, bastard of Caine. Come with me, I have no home. As I drain your life blood sweetly, as I sigh into my warm hands, as I suck your madness nearly streaming down my crimson bands, I dance the dance of the fool, and pray you find me mad. For if you lay hands upon the root, you will know me without illusion, and find me guilty of the truth. Malkav sees no reason to ever respect or follow anything that Caine has said, because why would he? He's the guy that drove him insane.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say, and I'm like, I wouldn't believe the guy that cursed me with eternal madness of heaven either.
Yeah. So to be fair, and he has a point.
And after being given that too, you know the saying, when all you have is a hammer?
Yes. Everything becomes a
exactly,
nail.
That's exactly what Malkav is doing. He's intentionally encouraging his children to spread demontation to whoever they fucking feel like. Just go out, we have a hammer, everyone's a nail around us, smash them.
Yes.
And what's the matter to Malkav? He found the cheat code after Saw left and Set was taken down by the Silent Striders. Malkav performed a ritual sacrificing himself to hunters in Israel so he could become an abstract being where death was no longer possible.
That seemed like a thing to do.
Malkav is ever now. He's air.
You're not touching him.
And for Nosferatu, who they call Absmerd Nosferat in this book. That's a name for him.
Yeah, it is a little weird.
You are the children of shadow. You are the sons and daughters of darkness. Seek the darkest place, make it your own. Feed on the wicked, feed on the sinful, feed on the ugly souls, for such is our diet, such is our Father's wish, our preordained meal. My children, look not at your visage to curse me, for I know that beauty lies within, and no greater beauty will there ever be. I don't think Absamari wrote this, I think this is Baba Yaga talking.
That makes more sense than whatever Absamiliard would come up with.
Absamari would not say that to his kids.
Absamiliard is much more sly than this. This is very much ecclesiastic, I guess is the term for it.
Well, at the same time, see a place of darkness, make it your own. Baba Yaga did that with the veil around Russia.
Yeah,
so
ecclesiastic is indeed the word for this of how it's put in this book.
Remember the whole you're not supposed to have direct dominion over humans? Well, the Nosferatu completely disregard that.
I mean, they do. It's weird. It depends. If you're a direct follower of the, not the Absamiliard, there's a separate term for them.
The Niktuku?
The Niktuku, yes. If you're a Niktuku, this would be the, direct, heresy of Caine. However, if you were a true Nosferatu, like most of the other Western Nosferatu or South American Nosferatu, it would make a little bit more sense, given the fact that you're the ones who deal in information, therefore are not so much the direct hand, but the general guide of humanity. In fairness, those that follow Absamiliard and not Baba Yaga are the ones who are more closely following Set's words. Because they were dealing in the trade of information, they're the ones that are the more light guide of mankind as the shepherd and flock, rather than Nosferat, and therefore the Niktuku, who would be the more direct ruler that, that Caine would otherwise decry.
Yeah, you got more in common than Caine that way. Not Sat Caine, yeah.
Exactly. So the true Nosferatu, those that are Nosferatu and not Niktuku, would be the ones who are more closely following the path of Set. Or not Seth, Caine. Jesus
Christ. They are the guys who are poised to be the shadow government, more so than the Ventrue.
Very much
and they have that in Africa.
The deal in information is more powerful. As it was put in the Roman Empire, scientia potentia est. That is, knowledge is power.
And that's what you got to worry about with these guys. The Toreador. In quiet, you will know beauty. In beauty, you will know truth. In truth, you will know love. In love, you will know quiet. My children, my creations, my beautiful things, watch and listen. Listen and watch. Use your sight to see the truth in beauty. Use your speed to stay still. Use your beauty to know truth. My children, my creations, gentle roses all. I've called you for your sculptures. I've called you for your pictures. I've called you for your songs, and I've called you for your dancing. Beautiful children, beautiful creations. Gold is not as precious. Honey not as sweet, milk not as pure. Like the tiger, you bite. Like the hawk, you dive. Like the cat, you stalk. Beautiful creations, beautiful predators, sweet succubi, darling incubi, taste virgin's blood and find bliss. Find your greatest part of joy, follow your greatest part of joy, and know that I watch you enthralled, my creations, my beautiful ones. The Toreador are not interested in kingship, they just want to directly fraternize with humanity and be amongst them as a secret predator leeching off of humanity.
I just want to say that he gave really no advice. He just said beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Exactly basically. That. The Toreador are a little obsessed with themselves, aren't they?
They are, but we've known that from the start.
I was going to say, if every vampire represents something of vampirism, these guys are just literal parasites.
They're vanity.
This is the leech.
They're vanity made manifest.
And there is no vampire clan that really says leech quite like the Toreador.
Oh, Tremere, arguably, but yeah.
Well, the Tremere are more like, if I may make a comparison, like a tapeworm would be the Toreador. Having an actual snake in your intestine would be the Tremere.
Yes.
My God.
The words of the Ventrue to his children. We ruled in Enoch. We ruled in the second city. Dumuzi, Gilgamesh, Zeus, Jupiter, we are every great man, every perfect man. We rule not by strength, but by right. Be the lawgiver, the tool maker. Carry the sacred me to the people. Keep the covenant, bind those that rebel, glory in those who fight and win. Keep strong swords about you always, and sharp eyes at your back. Cower not in fear of the sun, shrink not from fire. Though cursed we may be, we are the lords of the earth, and all things fall under our dominion.
A little bit self-righteous there,
just a bit.
We're close to following what was in the Book of Nod, but I think the Ventrue are taking the control aspect a little bit too far.
Yeah.
So you will fear the sun. There's nothing wrong with fear. It's actually a very good, useful emotion.
Yeah, it's what keeps people alive, I will say. But too much fear can cause people to spring back in the other direction, so to speak. But I think the Ventrue have sort of forgotten that, and thus gave rise to the imbued.
Toxic patriarchal part of the Ventrue. It's no shame in being a man, but when you let that dictate everything you do, and you take it a step too far constantly, we have a problem.
Precisely.
And then Salat's words come into play. No, you are made to be unmade. You are the white lamb, the gentle sacrifice. You are the greatest part of the bounty of Cain, and on your shoulders shall be his greatest sin. For among the children of Cain I have asked the one above for forgiveness. And I have been visited by the worst of the ones below's demons, those snakes which bit me in my sleeping, those foul worms who suck my blood. I learned from them to take the blackness from the blood, the wounds in the flesh, the evil of the soul, and though I may die, you children may live on. Open thy eye and see the world truly, and know that what you do from now goes to heal another generation. Salat never discovered Golconda, but his children figured out what Golconda was and found it in his place.
He was the only one to actually carry all the proper words.
And he's close, But at the same time, Salat did some of this stuff for the wrong reasons because he still created the Bali. He still empowered the Nefani in doing that.
That was his
And the
one thing, but that was mistakes that splintered off into other things that, in fairness, could have been handled by other factions had they been properly informed. The only thing, Salat turns into a Hamlet sort of character in the Book of Nod at this point. It is his inaction after a mistake is made that causes the ultimate domino effect that ends in eventual apocalypse. Had Salat learned earlier of the treachery of Malak, this all could have been avoided, but it was because of his overwhelming generosity and naivety that caused an eventual Gehenna to begin with. But he wouldn't have known otherwise, could he?
And a lot of evil stuff that he did, as the Kuei Jin have a very low opinion of Salat, is that Salat did it to understand what evil was and how to avert it. Which
would Caine have explained that to him to begin with?
And eventually Salat ended up doing what we did with Bali. Apparently, whatever he did to the Kuei Jin to make him hate him that strongly, and is now suffering through it again after being finally released from Tremir's clutches and dragging himself all the way back to Transylvania.
Yeah, to which it's up for debate to the storyteller if he actually defeats the Elder.
And it's up to you whether or not he was trying to be a good person and was simply following steps on a checklist, or if he was a good person. It's up to your interpretation.
I'm of the camp that Salat was a good but naive person, and after defeating the Elder and knowing the true cost of evil, does eventually become an anti-Caine.
There's also a poem on page 84 saying, "Don't diabolize." Here's a story of how some people tried to diabolize Caine and ended in catastrophic failure where he burnt them alive with lightning. Don't do it.
Yep. Sabat didn't really get the memo on that, did they?
You can do it to Camarilla, but not to each other, because this is what's going to happen to you. It's a very tempting prospect to diabolize, but yeah.
Samichi didn't get that message either, did they?
It's also a section in here about Caine's law and punishment, where if you go against it, he says, "You're my children. Alone amongst the rest of existence, you're my only companions. Forever we'll be locked in the way that fathers are bonded to their sons and sons to their fathers. And yet I will root out the bad seed. I will weed out the worst of you. I'll prune my dark tree in a manner that my father Adam taught me. If you are a useless, bumbling caitiff or a thin blood, we will kill you." That is what they're saying.
Basically.
If we think you're weak, if we think you're undeserving of the blood, then a Nodus has been given authority to kill you. And then we have a few proverbs in here. I want to read off the ones that are interesting. "Go not with the clan of the Rose for advice. They will give no single answer."
Funny that. It's like the children of Gaia.
"Watch Gangrel, and when they are uneasy, leave."
Oh, no shit.
I mean,
I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I was just messing with. What do you mean by uneasy?
Well, every cryptid story in America has been inspired by a country gangrel who frenzied too many times.
That was the werewolves that got a bit too close.
It's the Jersey Devil, the Mothman, the Hopkinsville Goblin. Those are all country gangrel.
The first to die in any jihad or Nosferatu. Damn.
That's honestly kind of tragic because Nosferatu are okay.
Well, it's because we were looking through Bloodlines, and Andre says in it he will pluck out the eyes of the Camarilla, and that he's saying his first order of business when he invades Los Angeles is that he's going to target every Nosferatu and kill them first.
Seems like the right thing to do.
That's his target. "Bless those who fight our natural enemies. Keep safe the water bearer, the builder, the undertaker. These are not to be prey."
Oh, they will fry the shit on ghouls.
Do not do that to a guy who's over infrastructure.
No.
Oh, the infrastructure. No.
Yeah.
Are any of them stupid to kill construction workers?
Yeah.
Nosferatu, more than likely, which is why they're the first to die in the jihad.
You wonder why all these Ventrue own these different real estate agencies.
probably to protect them from the Nosferatu.
Let honor be your shield, your sword, and your cloak. Let Ventru save face, and you will go far. Let the Ventru do the talking.
You missed one. Let not the priest, poet, the peasant see you feed. Not one of them will leave it be.
Hello, 3HP. We're on page A6 of the Book of Nod.
Hey,
so don't let scholars or ordinary people see you.
No. Don't let the people see this shit. And along with the Voldery, too. 1 sip of the blood, I take. 2 sips, I accept. 3 sips, I refuse. When you do 3 servings of Vitae, that is the uncontrollable desire blood bond. Which Howler would know about in our mage game at the moment.
Don't worry, I'm trying to figure this out.
It's
good luck.
You want in your Voldery, you do it twice, you do not do it a third time. Because you're going to be so obsessed with each other that nothing is ever going to get done.
Let honor be your shield, let Vulture save face, you will go far, okay. Let the Venture deal with that.
See. Bargain not with the darkness, in time it will take us all. The demons will always win, and basically Clan Lusumbra's fucked.
Yeah, they're kind of out of luck there.
You've seen me use Ruslan Maximov in these games. You see what using Obtenebration that frequently does to you.
Wait, there's a funny one. Know that in old times there will be a Caesar, pay him his due. Pay your taxes. That's how you get the fucking IRS on your ass.
Exactly. Don't do anything criminal by human standards because that will attract a human hunter.
Spreadsheets have been the bane of human existence since the Sumerian Empire. Even Cain knew this.
And last one I want to bring up. When the cross has a point, find your safety. AKA the Inquisition coming after you.
Yeah, Cain knew about this.
Actually, I would like... Sorry, you go.
What?
Go.
You say it.
There actually, I think, are still interesting. One is Ride the Beast, Do Not Let You. That's very similar to the Tiger Kings. But the next, there is actually a differing on how you drink from...
the Devil Tigers?
Humans.
Yeah.
Is take gently from humans. Women. Take gently from women. Take directly from men. Take sweetly from children. I cannot read that word. Haltingly from animals, from kindred, share the moon beast feast.
Mm-hmm. An animal you can treat however you want.
I feel like that last bit there's a bit contradictory to what they said about the Pharaoh.
Yeah.
If it's lupus kinfolk, you can get away with it, and then until the Red Town hunts you down and kills you.
Be as a king, your sacred duty is to protect the weak and fight the mighty. Fucking Sabat.
Yeah. And then right after that is another notes page made by De Laurent. We're taking a look through one of these. Note 6 is interesting. The vampiric werewolf is truly a foul thing indeed. I've had a conversation with one. And in addition to his pathetic condition, he seemed to be afflicted with a very highly advanced paranoia. He was certain that one of his kind, and I can only assume another abomination, was hunting him, and that the longer my gangrel friend and I detained him, the shorter his lifespan became. Whatever the state of the abomination, it is true that the lupine blood is both addictive and highly potent, containing obvious dangers to both own life and limb. I personally take Caine's prescription in this matter quite seriously.
That is kind of interesting. See, what's weird is that because I've heard previously that lupine blood is actually fairly repulsive to vampires.
It depends. I mean, the vampire mutations have happened so much that maybe for some it is, but for the most part, I think it puts vampires in a frenzy because it's like fucking cocaine to them.
Oh, and keep this in mind, Kyle. With the ratkin,
yes,
it is out and out poisonous. To the point where it just straight up kills a vampire if they drink their blood.
That makes a lot of sense, given that they are the plague carriers, the colors of humanity.
And anyone and this isn't just vampires. Anyone who gets ratkin blood in their mouth will take lethal damage automatically.
It's poison.
Yes.
Trust me, bro. You don't want the werewolf. Otherwise, you'll just become Hunter Biden when you drink that shit. You don't want that shit. Trust me.
Tell me about the medicinal properties of crack smoking.
Yeah.
It's more pure than cocaine. You know, you cook out all the impurities.
That man has a higher chance of getting elected than Kamala Harris does.
Honestly, he does, and I'm kind of here for it. I want to see it. No, get me an actual crackhead as president. He'd probably do better than what the fuck we got right now. Glad I was able to support this. This is great.
Take a look at some of these other notes. Do I want to read any of these other ones? 22. Fairy Lord dictates that the Arcadians are too good for hell, not good enough for heaven. This may be Caine's way of expressing his middle state. Kindred, who discovered the Fae, may do well to listen to their father's words in this matter. Of all the fragments of the Chronicles of Secrets, it was this fragment that I found to be the most elusive, perhaps because it carries a good measure of the truth about the Sidhe. Because after all, they're permanently bound to the world. They revolve around human existence.
Yes.
If the last human dies, the changelings will go with them.
Which is what makes the Times of Gehenna even more... Goodness, I lost my words right there. Even more dire.
And
I will say, though, it's funny how the king keeps saying, don't fuck with the fucking Fae and the spot over here. For every one of us you kill, we'll kill 77 of yours.
And number 30. When I showed this to Carlos, a Nosferatu elder in Spain, he told me that it alluded to all great doom, a great fate, to which all Nosferatu are chained. He would speak no further from this doom, and made me to take the fragment from his eyes. Being reminded of the Nosferatu heresy part reminds them of the Nituku, so I guess we're not going to have to worry about the Nosferatu after all if they're that fucking paranoid of the Nituku.
I think it is just the Nituku who will suffer that fate because they are the primary ones of whom that is directed. The rest of the Nosferatu, I think they're going to be okay.
I just like how fucked the Nosferatu are.
They are.
Because you have a lot of good stuff, but the Nituku will catch you one day.
They will, which is really tragic because the Nituku suck compared to the rest of the Nosferatu.
And next we have the signs of Gehenna. When the somber's dreams come true on the day where the moon, blood, and the sun rises black in the sky, there is the day we call the damned, when Cain's children will rise again. And the world will turn cold, and unclean things will boil up from the ground, and great storms will roll, lightning will light fires, animals will fester, and their bodies will fall. So, too, our grandsires will rise from the ground. They will break their fast on the first part, and they will consume us whole. On the second day, Cain will return and call his children to the meeting place on the site of the first city. He will beckon them, sitting down on the basalt throne. Yeah, the beckoning is what they were directly refers to. You know, the same thing that got Pendragon and Biltmore removed from the story of Dark Colony.
Yeah.
And Cain will call out the names of those to be destroyed for their crimes are too great, and all those who have been consumed the heart's blood of their sires will be brought before the black throne and made to drink Cain's blood, and Cain's blood will eat their blood, and the Dark Mother herself will be brought forth. And there, in the Valley of Enoch, will be a battle, a duel of Dark Father and Dark Mother, Demon Queen, Damned King. We will not know the thing which will happen, but the sky will tear apart, and the earth below, and the forces of hell will pour out of the ground. And on the third day, there will be silence. The crows will feed upon the carrion plague, and the plague will dance among the ruins, and the last of the wild ones will leave this place, and the last of the moon beast will fight and fall. And the Antediluvians will make themselves an empire of blood, and they will rule with iron talon. They will wrench the hearts of all still alive, and the full sun of the earth will come, and the full sum of the earth's living will come, and they'll live in the last city, called Gehenna. And there will be a reign of 1,000 years, and there will be no love, life, or pity. The mighty will be slaves, the virtuous will be made foul, every good gift, every precious gift will be tainted by the Father of Darkness, whose power will come from nether realms. When the snows consume the earth, and the sun gutters like a candle in the wind, then and only then will there be born a woman, the last daughter of Eve. And in her there will be decided the fate of all. And you will not know this woman except by the mark of the moon on her, and she will face treachery, hatred, and pain. But in her is the last hope. And you will know these last times by the time of the thin blood, which will mark vampires that cannot beget. You will know them by their clamness. Who will come to rule? You will know them by the wild ones, who will haunt us even in the strong city. You will know them by their awakening of some of the eldest. The crone will awaken and consume all. You will know these times, for a black hand will rise up and choke those who oppose it, and those who eat heart's blood will flourish. And the kindred will crowd each to his own desires, and the vitae will be as rare as diamond. Mark these signs, they are coming Gehenna on earth. This is why they're so obsessed with killing the Thin Bloods in Kadif, because they're direct signs at the time of Thin Blood. Because once we get to a point where there are nothing but Thin Bloods on the street, that's when Caine is going to rise, and that will directly summon every single member of the Antediluvians to rise up and start eating every other vampire. Now you get it.
Yes.
Now, as is decreed by Uriel himself in the Jihad.
And it's
Especially
even been described. Sorry, go ahead, Howler.
I was just
No.
it was me.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting
God damn.
getting everybody mixed up now.
Now I sound like a woman to you. God damn. Okay. No, I was just gonna say. I just imagine on day 2 when when King gathers everybody up, basically just they're there for court, and imagine when they go, Caine has arrived. He'll now hand out
All
judgments.
God damn.
Every single one of you is going to get your blood drained straight out of you. You're all fucked. It's nice knowing you.
GG Nori.
And I also say during this time, every werewolf for whatever reason will just come out of the woods and will start hunting vampires when Gehenna is about to happen.
Right. Well, I suppose if Gehenna happens, it's pretty much a veil / masquerade breach. You might as well go
Not
ham.
just
Let's
that,
do
I
this.
feel like if they are, I mean, pretty much any vampire with a humanity score of 7 or lower is going to ping on Sense Worm, and every Theurge at that point in time, or every Philodox who has Sense Worm, is just going to get a massive headache from every vampire just pinging all at once on them.
They will end up dying out. The Thin Bloods will outnumber the werewolves, and eventually they will succumb to that damage. It's lethal damage, but remember, 1 point of lethal damage would be, is equal to 10 superficial. 1 aggravated is 10 lethal. If you accumulate 70 points of lethal damage as a werewolf, that will eventually kill you.
It's going to
It will
take a
just get to that
lot,
point.
though. Unless you're Glasswalker and you just have infinite respawns.
Respawn points.
It's after that. Do not think too hard about the ship of Theseus in that scenario.
Yeah, they're trying to copy Mage with the respawn points. Yeah.
Basically.
And you'll know the awakening of the Dark Father. There will come a time when the heads of 3 princes will watch the burning of the dawn on the Pillar of White. There will come a time when an ancient hunger will awaken in deep in the northern woods and consume all of her children. There will come a time where an elder of darkness will stir deep below the city, which has forgotten, and will surprise the elder, its children. Of these signs, you'll know that Caine is now awake, and he is now out roaming the street.
It's actually interesting that they're mentioning princes.
Yes, we will sacrifice 3 different princes on white pillars, and that will summon Caine.
Yeah, and especially like using the word prince, like because that's in the modern. That's like the government, that basically.
So in the case of Dark Colony, you sacrifice Pendragon, Biltmore, and Warwick, and it will summon Caine.
I'm confused. Don't Sabbat want Caine back, so shouldn't they want the Gehenna?
They do, but they want to have an army ready for Caine's return. Granted, Caine does not want a fucking army. He specifically asked for one to not be raised in his name, but they made one anyway.
I want the Sabbat to just mean Caine. Like, look what we made in your name. And he says, go fuck yourself.
Like,
get the fuck out of here.
What did you guys do? I literally asked for the opposite of this.
Just let me sleep.
All of them come up with to Caine with the army. Goes like, oh, I'm sorry I have to do this to you.
Now you might be wondering, how does Caine's story end? When it comes to this, well, we have 2 different endings for you. Do you want Fair is Foul, or do you want Crucible of God first?
No.
Fair's foul.
What happens with Caine and Fair is Foul is that he's awake. He's at the point where the thin bloodening has happened, and he can no longer stay asleep because of it. So, obligated to wake up and start moving around. Caine's up. As it turns out, Lilith this entire time has been in the Garden of Eden. She's been there the whole time.
Chilling there.
It turns out it's a basically a mage realm that she commandeered for herself, where she has her 6 consorts living there with her. Those consorts, I'll go into further detail when we do Pharaoh's Foul as an episode. Lucien, Erinye, Meket, Ikopabe, Ilyes, aka the Bruja Antediluvian, Malachi, and the proto-woman Ikos all live with her within Eden. And she adopts a daughter, Lila, who is the woman that we spoke about before, the woman who has the mark of the moon on her. She is a random runaway, a teenager, who Lilith just happened to identify as the one who is spoken of in this prophecy. She has now taken her... What?
Basically the Avatar. That's
pretty
what she
much.
is.
That's what she's taken her and has helped her realize that she has a power to see the past, present, and future all at one time.
That would drive me crazy.
And through doing so, helps her control it, and through using Lila, rigs the entire events of Pharaoh's Fall into her favor. Lilith wins the situation no matter what because Lila is on her side. What Caine does is that he tries getting in contact with a few old guys, only to find out they're not the same. So he doesn't have the relationship with Solon anymore. Hakim comes back for round 3 and fails. Absoluter tries to get one over on Caine, only for Caine to strike him down in an instant. And Lasombra's here, which you can actually help Caine in this scenario to have him fight Lasombra and win. But after that happens, Lucifer himself is in the Garden of Eden with Lilith and says, "Aren't you going to do anything about this?" Lilith says, "In a minute." Lucifer doesn't accept that as an answer. He leaves the Garden of Eden and goes approach Caine. He says, "Look, I know we have a history with each other, but you need to explain this to me. Why did you not accept God's forgiveness?" And Caine says, "God set me up. Everything that went wrong with his vampire curse was his doing." Lucifer brings Caine back in time and has him relive the events of him killing Abel all over again, but from a new out-of-body perspective. And Caine realizes it was only his exile from Eden that was part of the curse. Everything else was his own doing. The accumulation of the vampire curse, him being averted to sunlight, him being only able to move around at night, the disciplines, him being only able to drink blood, the embrace, it was all his own doing that caused this. And Caine is finally forced to face the truth. You didn't kill Abel because you loved him. You killed him because you were jealous of him. And that's always been what it is. And you have known this. You've known this since the beginning. And you've denied it because you were too weak to ever face that reality. And once Caine realizes that, he comes to a conclusion. All vampires will cease to exist if he just dies. But Caine can't do that to himself. So Lucifer steps back and says, "You know what you have to do." He flies back to Eden. Caine walks over to a designated meeting spot that the storyteller decides, has one last conversation with Lilith, and it summarizes as Caine saying, "Look, I'm sorry. Everything is my fault. I did use you to my advantage, and I'm sorry for what I did." He either gets in a fight with one of the consorts of Lilith and kills them, prompting Lilith to attack him, or Lilith just kills Caine in one shot after Caine just gives up all of his power. Caine dies, and then the withering happens, but instead of it taking place over a year, it happens over a day.
Oh.
After Caine dies, every vampire that is older than 50 dies instantly.
Damn.
Just immediately. It's just you feel your blood begin to fall out of your just fall out of your veins, and you wither away in seconds, just turn to ashes in a matter of seconds.
Can it be like over 100? Like humans can live past 50. I think this is tied. Yeah.
If you're a 50-year-old vampire, you have to make a stamina roll to survive.
Oh.
The difficulty is 20 minus your generation.
So if it's anything above 10, you're fucked.
You have to be. Wouldn't it be better to be an early?
Yeah, like
or
if your generation is 10 or lower, you're fucked.
The Thin Bloods have a chance to exist, and now you have a whole situation where the vampires are no longer vampires. You're cured, actually.
Well, no. By this logic, there would still be older generation vampires, just still the younger ones.
Oh no, you lose those powers.
Oh, never mind.
The curse falls off of you.
Ah.
And after that, if you're a ghoul, by the way, as long as you have been taking vampire blood for less than 50 years, you'll be fine. If it's been longer than that, you'll rapidly age and die with your sire, or in this case, your master. After which, depending on what you did, as you're a vampire, Lilith might take mercy on you and just cure your vampirism instantly.
The almighty curse of Caine wasn't actually that. It was actually being turned back into human and getting a job. The almighty CES application.
Yeah, how are you going to adapt to that? After that, Lilith dips to go back to the Garden of Eden, and that's how Caine's story ends. Now for the Crucible of God ending. So,
more action.
So after Malkav causes global-wide insanity, and Noia fuses with the Earth's crust and starts devouring people, Hakim starts his jihad only to fail and eventually burn out. Lasabra finishes the gauntlet and cuts off all plant and animal life from their spirits and kills them. And finally, Zimichi himself possesses Tremere, learns humanity's true name, fuses all people into one mass, and almost all vampires as well. And finally, God himself returns, strikes, and vaporizes Zimichi in doing so.
Distinct creature.
Yeah.
Finally just starts World of Darkness from the beginning. It's like, nope, cut, we're done.
Caine is then pulled out of reality, screaming at God, saying, "Why didn't you just let me die in any of this?" As it turns out, God is not done with Caine. He drops him back into reality for him to relive his life as Caine all over again with no chance to change his fate.
Oh no, he does. He has to say, "I'm sorry."
It's the YHVH Shin Megami Tensei God in this scenario. And as for the player characters in Crucible of God, you're left on a Earth that has no sun, no light, where you either sit and starve and go to torpor that you will never wake up from, or you devourise each other. And that's how that story ends.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's just depressing.
Yeah, Caine only needs to make a huge apology to God. That's how he fix everything.
It's all just like one giant what's an empathy roll against Caine.
And does Caine even show up in the Nightshade or Wormwood scenarios? No. He's just not there. So
would have been nice.
There it is. That's Caine, everybody.
He started this shit, and he's gonna end this shit.
He knows he's done something wrong. In vampire relativity, he's the most moral of all the vampires, the most righteous of them. Only because he's seen it all, done it all, and has realized he's made nothing but mistakes his entire life, and has just decided it'll be better if he just stepped away from the entire thing, because everything he touches just goes to shit.
So, what happens to Caine's ghouls? What happens to his boys, Jubal? Does he die instantly as well when he dies?
I'm pretty sure he does, yes. It'll be a mercy at this rate. You had to live with fucking Caine for this long.
It'd be pretty rough given how Caine's temperament is described in the rest of the Book of Nod.
You had to drink his blood through a straw because he won't wake up to feed you.
Basically, you just sit there, you just had like a little metal cocktail straw in his wrist, and you just lean down and take a drink of that, and then you're good for 7 days at best?
And that's it.
Yeah, make it sound like he's drinking.
Hello, welcome to the Caine Bar and Tap House. What'll it be? And that's it.
It's like the trees, the maple syrup trees, and in Quebec, you just
basically, yeah.
You're making him sound like a Capri Sun. Everybody's just trying to drink him.
Capri Sun Caine flavor.
As we're wrapping up with some things, what is demons' interactions with vampires?
Demons' interactions control.
Control.
Basically that.
I thought they don't like.
The only thing it's mentioned in times that Gehenna fares foul is that Lucifer's just kind of sitting there waiting for Caine to show up at the Garden of Eden. He's basically just a guardian of the Garden of Eden, which is kind of weird to think about, in all honesty, But that's all he's doing when I read it. And I'm like, what's going on? Why is... This is the guy, one of the heads of the main factions in Demon of the Fallen. Why is he not doing more to defend to stop this from happening?
Well, it's because he thought that Caine knew the entirety of...
Caine doesn't know. He was mortal, thrust beyond circumstance by God himself.
But then after finding out that Caine has just been deluding himself this entire time, that's when Lucifer steps in and says, you know that's not the true story, and let me clarify it for you.
Eventually.
I'll show you something.
I would imagine Lucifer, if he found a vampire, like, hey, you want me to cure that for you? You seem
Honestly,
in pain. You want me to just turn you back to a human?
I would take
He
that
does have the
deal in
power
a
for that.
heartbeat. Please. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Problem with Lucifer is... Oh, you go.
Just Lucifer, like... man, he's the epitome of that meme, I'm tired, boss. I don't think he wants to do this shit. That's why he's...
I mean, he's lost everything.
Well, yeah, but his thing is, even though he cares, he's just too controlling.
And after all, he realized from his encounter with Crusader 1 and Hunted Reckoning that, as it turns out, yes, you did upset God that much because he sent Crusader 1 after you, of all people. A man who believed that he was one with God to the point where white fire was shooting out of his eyes and fingers as he tried to vaporize you. And he left a wound on Lucifer's body that never healed.
God, are you that mad?
Yes.
Turns out, yes.
Hey, chill, bro. We had a non-PvP server. Calm down.
You brought sin into the world.
Yes. Aha! I found it.
It was a misinput.
Fucking knew it. So Jojo was on me before about Clan Gargoyle, calling me a Gimper, saying that there are no intelligent gargoyles. I looked through them, as it turns out, yeah, there wasn't a single gargoyle stat block that had an intelligence of higher than 1, for whatever reason. But we found it.
He was the chosen one.
It's at the back of the Gehenna hook. We finally have a smart gargoyle with Ferox.
If I remember
Well,
correctly,
his sire's probably dead, so I don't know what else he expected.
what happened? First of all, the gargoyles are made very weirdly. I read the House of Tremere, but there wasn't a true gargoyle rebellion. Is the Tremere bound all the gargoyles to one bitch, and that one bitch revolted, and they followed her.
Yep.
And it all fell apart, but we finally have a smart one. This guy's intelligence 4. We finally have a smart gargoyle.
Hey man, Ferox is a G, bro. He has like True Faith 10. He's the one that killed Epstein, bro. He's the one who did it.
Mm-hmm. He's got this like chin. He's got a butt chin that's probably shitting.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
He's got the Giga Chad chin.
It's always fun, like from the perspective, like other supernaturals, when a supernatural they don't know just runs by. Like, what the fuck was that? It's like you're a werewolf and you're seeing Crusader 1 just run by. Like, the fuck was that shit?
That guy was,
what the hell?
he was leaving white after images of himself made out of fire as he was running. Let's get away from that.
I'd avoid that. Even as Kendi, I couldn't stand up to that.
Yeah, bro. That character was like a Dragon Ball Z character, bro. With how he was moving.
It's ultimately subjective as to how you view Caine and how sympathetic he is, because he is a villain that did realize that he was wrong, that everything he did was a mistake, that it was his fault everything went wrong, but his own pride and his own grudge against God is what prevented him from doing the right thing.
Yep. The end, he was like, how do I say this? Like, from his inaction, a lot of the time, is the thing that caused the most consequences onto the world, because it wasn't him that suffered the consequences, it was the rest of the world that suffered it.
Mm-hmm. There's Kyle if he was more Germanic.
I'm trying to remember any quotes from Galliard, but I can't think of any. Give me a half sec.
So Kyle, how was what were you thinking the image that Johnny sent right now?
I don't know. I kind of dig that. I think it's quite nice.
Thankfully, I have such a delay in my thing that I still have yet to see it, so I don't have to acknowledge it. Oh, there it is. It came. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's pretty good. Hang on. Let me see if I can find some Galliard here.
I'm ultimately of the opinion that even though Caine realized what he did was wrong, he won't admit it, which is why you can feel sympathy for him, but you can't really empathize with him because he still refuses to let go of his own pain. And
oh hell no!
With a certain guy that
not.
With a certain guy I follow online that Kyle doesn't want me saying the name of, He knows what I'm talking about. That's ultimately what his issue is that you have all this personal pain that you cling onto, and you let that be inspiration for the shit that you do. And just letting go is what you need to fucking do already.
But let's be honest.
Could all be
a
so
lot of the
simple.
time as well. To be fair to Caine, the boy Caine, a lot of it he just sided the wrong people, and they sided the wrong people as well, and the cycle continued.
It's a lack of personal responsibility and accountability that what led to so many issues in the World of Darkness, up to and not limited to the eldest win condition, the Sombra's win condition, and Tremere doing what he did.
All of it has just caused so many problems in the World of Darkness. It's just unfathomable.
Yeah, so cause and effect, you caused the complete destruction of Carthage, the Week of Nightmares, Tremere destroying the traditions, any sort of hope they had of mass ascension, and essentially giving the win to the Technocratic Union in the process, which would eventually go off to empower and create Threat Null. And everything involving the Crucible God scenario was set up by you putting dominoes in place that you didn't realize you were doing. But ignorance isn't a valid defense here. You set this up, and it was an easy fix for you to prevent any of this, but because you were who you were, you couldn't do it.
It's all because Eve ate that goddamn apple.
I'm just thinking Caine. It looks at what he created and finds out he created this and just wants to kill everything.
What the fuck is this? No, I'm asking, what the hell is this?
That's what Atreus really looks like.
Yeah, that's Atreus.
It's Atreus.
It looks like fucking Brendan Fraser in The Whale.
How fucking greasy Atreus is. We're just wearing a bathrobe. He's got the tissue box shoes.
Atreus doesn't even explain why he needs to unlock the fifth level of thaumaturgy. He just looks at you like this.
That's it. I think we said all there is to say about Caine.
I think that about covers it. Yes.
Damn it! I couldn't find this guy I wanted to show you. But oh well, I'll look through my.
What was his name?
I can't remember. That's why I.
Mr. Man.
It's my fault.
It's the Snowman, isn't it?
No. Is this a guy who makes anime shorts, and they're really cool, and they involve usually knights, fighting supernaturals, but I forgot the name.
Oh yeah, like the minute you find out, I'll post it.
Yeah, just chuck it in the server. It'll be good.
Did we mention that Caine has like his sevenfold curse that repulls everything back at his enemies?
Oh yeah, because you can't kill Caine because of that curse.
Yep.
Yeah, everything you do at him comes back at you like a fucking tidal wave.
Yeah, that's God's magic too. You can't break that.
Yep.
So there we have it. That's Caine, everybody.
That's Caine, everybody.
The start of all of it.
Don't feel bad for him.
I still wish that in the Bloodlines 2 can't sing where like I want Lucifer and Caine when he comes like back to Los Angeles and they're like rival taxi people.
Yeah.
And they're like competing for taxi customers.
One drives an Uber, one drives a Lyft.
I'm gonna be honest. I'd just like to have a vampire character to talk to Caine, like just to see it's like how far removed he is, and just be like as casual a conversation as one can have unknowingly with Caine himself.
And before you know it, you're directly quoting and paraphrasing from Rick and Morty without realizing it.
Oh God, no! He might just die.
The answer is don't worry about it.
Like, bro, like if you try to talk to him and he doesn't goes.
One last
what the
thing
fuck are you talking about?
Before leaving, is it possible to recreate vampirism without involving any of the blood of Caine?
You can, yes. That's what the Nagaraj are.
I got that correct.
Yeah. So you can have a magic vampire, but because of the belief system, you have all the weaknesses that entails.
That's. What if I believe those weaknesses away?
What if I believe in myself, make it different, be the one?
I believe. Actually, that is something you can do as a mage. I believe I'm a vampire.
In that case, a marauder is you.
Yep. Therefore, you become Samuel Haight, and then everything else revolves around you for at least 10 years.
Could have been a mage.
And then her medic mage goes, "What the fuck you doing, vampire?" Just hits you with a nuke, the abysmal flame, boom, 200 points of ag damage. Be gone.
Or you meet a fucking ecstatic and goes, you know, I can turn you back like that, and then you turn back into a human, and then they just lick my balls. Boom.
Lick my ball.
Yes.
So,
An ecstatic and a fucking Euthanatos would be a terrible combination to have in a cabal.
So, what do we think Caine's thoughts are on mummies, for example?
Oh shit! Yeah, mummies. They are.
Oh dear
weird.
God! Run! I think is what it would be.
It's gonna be a fucking Dark Souls boss, so that mummy will never die and Cain will never die, and it's just a fucking paradoxical loop of you two
And they'll
fighting
just
each
be
other.
sitting there,
in
just
nowhere.
like panting at each other at the end of a tournament arc in an anime. And it was like, I see now. Finally, I've met a worthy foe. As
Yes,
have
but
I.
Are vampires inherently hostile mummies?
Yeah, mummies are inherently hostile to vampires because you're breaking the cycle of life and death.
Me.
But what would you think Caine would be? Maybe you wouldn't want to
Here
talk
I
with,
see
with the
you
homie
stand
mummy.
before me, dead though you are, but your heart not weighed by Ra himself.
I don't know if it'll do mummies, but there actually are different types of mummies besides desert mummies. You can have a mummy in the frost, like a frozen mummy, or a bog mummy.
That's true. You could have the caveman mummy. And I'm glad that he's in there. We're out here, and he's out here, and we're out there. And I just remembered.
One of the big questions, okay, Caine and the Celestines. Like, do you think they get along with each other, or they have like a "we don't like you, you don't like us" kind of mentality? How's Caine's relationship with the wild? How's that?
How's Caine's relationship with the
Depends on how you.
Asian face?
Depends on if you think Lilith is an aspect of the wild or not.
What's Caine's relationship with the Asian vampires again? The
Wait, Jen?
The Quaid, they fucking hate him.
Why would they hate him? What do you do to them?
They made Solot and they hate him.
Because
Why they hate?
Solon went to
Listen.
India to try and find enlightenment, found the Path of Caine, which, you know, Caine had actively kept from the rest of the Cainites. In the meantime, had met the Kuei-jin. The Kuei-jin said, "You are not one of us," and tried to immediately kill Solot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fuck
But
that.
trust me, Caine was moving. Not Caine. Saul was moving mad in
I'm gonna.
the
So
Asian
they
countries.
more so that the Kuei-jin hate Caine by proxy because of Solot's just not incompetence, but naivete.
Bro, look at that. I don't know what Salah did, but the
He
Kuei-jin
showed
thing
up. That was the
moving.
problem. The Kuei-jin just hate people because of the Tama Kings.
Yeah, but I'm just confused. Like, did like Salah move like he was like American History X, like in the play? Like, what happened?
No, Solot was not that racist. Solot did not think there were too many Kuei-jin on this block. Solot was more like, "Oh, hey, what's going over? Oh, Jesus!"
What are you doing to that woman, Salah? What you doing?
Basically. All right, I think we've about covered Caine.
Yes,
That's it.
that is.
Pull the cord. It's time to end the episode.
Yes, it is. I need to go to bed. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
GN.
GN.